All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final for the Hidden Cup. I'm rondorice here casting with Mellison. Mellison, how you doing?
Hey, I'm happy to be here today. Thanks.
Yeah, it should be a really fun stream and a good time here. So, sort of a different setup we got for today where the game has actually already happened. So, we will be sort of running through it on a video today. So we're going to take a few minutes here to look at the setup, talk about that. Then we'll see the factions that get selected, and then we'll go right to the fast auction results, and then straight into the game. And the format today, so it's going to be the four accounts that have made it to the final of the Hidden Cup are going to be playing. And then you see the points on the top left of the screen there. So those points, the differential between the players are going to be added to their score at the end of the game today. So for example, Olaf being what is that, 8.5 points ahead of Sad Panda. So for example, if a Sad Panda just based on the game, beats Olaf by 7 points, Olaf would still win because of that 8.5 points added to their score. So it should be
Actually,
a
if
really
Sad Panda
interesting
won
format.
by, they'd have to beat by 9 points, right? Because there's the
Right.
half
Or
point
yeah,
tie.
sorry. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. They'd have to beat Olaf by 9 points just in the game in order to win the Hidden Cup.
And just to say for the
Oh,
record how much fun it is to refer to people as a sad panda or
right.
Gary Giraffeville. That never gets old. It never gets
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, there's been some really creative names and pictures that the players have come up with for this. So, anyways, real quick before we switch here, we can take a look at the setup here. The thing that jumps out to me right away is we got round four digs and round five towns, which even with the round six big building, which is sort of a lower scoring event, this still looks like a pretty high scoring track too, especially when you combine that with the first three rounds where you have the TPs in the first round and then two dwelling rounds. So I think we have the potential for some big scores here.
Yeah, and the back-to-back dwelling rounds right before. Oftentimes you see back-to-back rounds. That's not always a sign of like a super high-scoring track. But for dwellings, especially in the early game, it gives you a lot of flexibility whether you want to how you want to start round one. Like you start round one, a trading post round with a couple temples, then like slowly build up in round two, and then really hit it in round three. There's a lot of different ways you can approach this track. With the
Yep.
culmination being in round four and round five, and then round six potentially being a little anticlimactic. Depends on how everybody gets to wrap up their round fives. We'll see the impact of round six here.
Yep. Okay. And so here now we see the factions that were selected. Okay. So I think this is in seat order, I would imagine. So we got Wisps in the first seat, Yetis in the second on black, and then Conspirators and Nomads. So really interesting here. So when we take a look at the bonus tiles based on this faction order, so we think Nomads probably get the spade, then Conspirators maybe take the big building. Although I could also see them taking the priest, and then that leaves the remainder of those two for Yetis and Wisps.
Yeah, no TP tiling for Wisps is a just a general sad comment here. As is like no later TP scoring round, but they're so flexible they can handle a lot. Conspirators, those are great players. Like the Stronghold is great to open with. Um, and I guess Yetis have a guaranteed double dig. I was thinking worker power might be nice to be able to potentially go for double dig round one. Even though it's not a dwelling round, getting them out early is always a fine option. But Yetis, because they start with 12 power in bowl two, can double dig round one right off the bat. So there's not really any if Yetis want double dig round one, there's not really any competition for it.
Yeah, and Yetis are one of the factions I'm sort of least familiar with. Is Stronghold pretty much always how you open with Yetis, or can you also throw in a temple? Do you know the sort of general split on what you want to do with them?
Yeah, I don't think that anybody's totally figured it out yet. Yeti's are one of those factions that I think a lot of people have. They think they're stronger than they actually turn out to be in practice. A lot depends on the leech you get throughout the game. I think a temple start or a stronghold start is really viable. The stronghold is nice. It gives you a lot of flexibility, as you can use all the power actions as you want, especially if you're getting a lot of leech in round one. You can just do crazy things, whether it's spamming priest to cults, stacking up resources to like start building up, and then you build out. They have a lot of choices, but the temple is really strong too. You get priest production right off the bat. Often heir 2 is a common choice. Though looking at the cult rewards here, that water cult is really nice. Especially if, let's say Yetis go stronghold and they can spam priests to water, get that spade right off the bat. Spades are so important for them early because they're an ice faction, don't have any natural hexes. And spades going into a dwelling round are always nice because it just gives you an easy way to get a couple free points the next round. And then priests in round 3 are nice if you want to upgrade your digs in round 4. You have the priest ready to go. You can spend your resources. If you're Yeti, spend that precious power on workers and coins as much as you want there.
Yeah, that's interesting. That does seem like a pretty solid Yetis track with, especially with the priests in round 3 to get those dig upgrades after you've spammed out some dwellings in round 2 and 3. Okay, so let's see. So we see the fast auction results here on the right, and I'm just trying to orient myself to how these are mapped out. So first, second. Okay, so I see. So their first choice is the 0 faction, and then we have the differential for each one below that. So it looks like most of these players had conspirators as the best faction. I think that makes a fair bit of sense. Obviously, they don't have a color neighbor. They're a pretty strong faction in general. And then there's pretty good cult rewards. They can shoot up and sort of, depending on the round, really take whatever favor tile gets them the current cult reward. And I think with the big building tile in, opening with the stronghold is a pretty viable option for them. And then let's see, nomads are the second choice for most people. Again, I think that makes sense just because of the lack of color neighbors. Nomads are a pretty strong faction in general. And then it looks like there was a pretty even split as far as wisps or yetis being the 40. And it looks like most of these players had about a 20-point difference between the best and the worst faction.
Mm-hmm. Good to note that Yetis are black. I hadn't noted the color earlier. I wonder where they go for a starting spot. Because with nomads probably on D3 there, you'd think wisps on D2 seems like a really logical starting spot. So Yetis could either go C1 and hope of a leech triangle there. So if they start there and then in the east with conspirators, it's a pretty good neighbor situation for them. I was just saying how people tend to overvalue Yetis, but I'm like instinctively I'm valuing Yetis higher than everyone else did here. I think they have.
Yeah, let's see. So you think Yetis start C1 and then one of the two blacks in the east?
They also, if they start E5 in the center there, they have tempo on nomads to take E6. So maybe that's a nice little like sanctuary town area right there. You grab E4 and E6. You've got easy hexes to build. You don't have to worry about shipping. That might be an option too there.
And okay, so it looks like we are starting into placements. Okay, yep. So we see wisps right off the bat go D5. which is interesting. I think that makes some sense. You're definitely going to get conspirators on E7 there. You could get nomads on E8. And then you can make sure and secure C3 pretty soon before conspirators have a chance to take it. So I think that makes some sense. And then, yeah, I agree with you, especially with yellow in the game. It's always good for blue to go D2. So I imagine that's where we'll see the other wisp dwelling. I think Yetis definitely have the most to think about as far as their starting placement. I like E5 because you have that tempo on nomads to take E6. Yeah, I think that's a pretty logical sanctuary town. And E6, that center hex usually gets quite a bit of leech throughout the game as well. So I think that's a pretty smart move by Yetis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a risk if you start C1, you're kind of stranded up there. And then if nomads are on E8, you can see that leech triangle right there in the center between D5, E7, and E8 and leave you entirely out of it. Yetis are just, I feel like I spent a lot of time thinking about Yetis, but they are so dependent on the leech they get early on, especially, that's one of your big early game focuses, especially when you know you have an outlet later, like the round 4 digging.
Yep. Yeah, and actually, I didn't realize. So, okay, so now we can see so it looks like both Yetis and Wisps started on 40. Conspirator started 12 points down, and the Nomad started 9 points down. That seems pretty fair. I think right off the bat here, Conspirator's only 12 points down with no color neighbors in this track seem fairly good to me, but I guess we'll see as the game develops how that goes. So we got some more placements here. Nomads go F3 and E8 right away. Interesting. So they kind of leave D3 open for now. I guess just seeing where everyone else goes. And wow, really interestingly, we see Yetis go double west with E5 and C1. What do you think of that?
That's fascinating. I wonder where the Wisp's second dwelling goes now. Because if they're looking to connect, D2 is going to be really hard to connect from. Like even with the stronghold ability where you can fly and take up a new space somewhere, it's going to be, yeah.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Now there's
G6.
no other, yeah. Because there's no, I mean, connection might still be a bit difficult, but unless nomads are on G4, they can blast through the F5 brown and connect right there. You don't have to worry about competing for space with anybody else in the east.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I wonder if they're thinking, with no neighbor, nomads, and conspirators, you would think maybe they're only fighting for 6 network points with Yetis. So I wonder if this is sort of with the way that Yeti's placed, sort of a network concession, but they're just going to make sure that they have space for 3 towns because they can sanctuary town through D5, C3. B3, they can get a town there on that western continent, and then they can use that stronghold ability maybe to fly up to like A11 or down to like H2 and sort of just punt network and make sure they get 3 towns. But I could also see them trying to connect. That'll be an interesting decision that they have to sort of think through.
Yeah. I have a question for you on conspirators. I'm looking at their round 1 plan. So like if they open stronghold, you have the big building tile. I'm wondering what the rest of their round looks like because that water reward is maybe a little awkward to get to. Let's say in that world, we assume probably Wisp take the priest. They would send that to water first. Conspirators could end on water 2 and buy a priest and send it to get that spade. But I'm wondering what do you think of their? They have so much flexibility to hit cult rewards, but you still have to actually like get to that point to get the reward. And 4 on water seems a little tricky.
Yeah, it does seem a little tricky actually. Now that because if they go stronghold and then take water 2, they can use that step. But yeah, then they'll have to send the water 2 back when they switch favors. And unless they just take like water 3, they would need at least a priest to water in order to hit that. So that is interesting. I think it might be a bit. Oh wow! And we see. Okay, so nomads go with the spade. No surprises there. But conspirators go on to the priest instead of the big building. That is interesting. So I wonder what their angle is here.
Then I
They're
guess maybe. Or go ahead.
I was thinking. I wonder. I hope this is a water 2 play. Maybe they're going to temple first round, send that priest to water, and then do a water 2. But I guess that only gets them to the 6 spot. Maybe they buy a priest. I don't know. That's really interesting. I wouldn't have expected them to pass up the big building.
Yeah, I like that line though. There'll be a little less pressure on the priest maybe if like Wisps and Yetis know they're not going to get that 3 spot. So you could you could take the line that you did, like buy a priest, temple for water 2, or you could stronghold, take that bump on water 2 just to get to the 4th spot, and then swap into an econ favor.
Oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, still go stronghold even without the stronghold tile. Yeah, and just use that priest to get to the 4th spot. I think that makes some sense. The stronghold tile is still in the game, so you can score it, maybe next round or a couple times throughout the game. And you've ensured yourself that water spade by getting onto the priest. So yeah, I think that makes a fair amount of sense. We do see Yetis take double dig for that center brown as we thought they would.
Yeah, that's such a nice system.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great hex. It's going to get a lot of leech. Speaking of leech, we were already just talking about conspirators, but it seems like they're going to get quite a bit of leech in this setup here. Yetis dug E6, Wisps upgraded on D5. I'm really liking this for conspirators.
Yeah, and even though Wisps might not upgrade D5 again, depending on what their plan is, they'll still, otherwise they would just upgrade G6 down at the bottom there. So like the conspirators are going to get leech from Wisp wherever they decide to go.
Right, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and we saw, okay, so the rest of the bonus tiles shook out. Let's see. So Yetis went for worker power instead of the big building, which is interesting because they already could have double dug. So maybe that sort of leans them to not opening with the stronghold and instead going for a temple because they passed up on that big building. And then Wisps in first seat ended up on big building, which I imagine they have to be pretty happy with.
Yeah, extra
it's not.
Workers.
Yeah, not normally, and especially because they sort of want to open with a lot of TPs. Those 2 extra workers can come in really handy to also be able to build out some dwellings and keep that economy going.
Yeah. Oh, did Yetis take single spade too? Look at
wow. That. Yeah, Yeti's got single spade and double spade. Yeah, they're going to be able to open with temple 4 dwellings here.
Yeah, I think that's why you go with the worker power. Temple 4 dwellings by itself is really great, but does that little extra bit of power, because you can be so flexible with your power, whether you open stronghold or have like early access to actions like this, that 3 power means more to you than it does to most factions, even more than an extra worker and 4 points potentially. If you can pull off something like this, Temple 4 dwellings with round 4 digs coming up and space in the west there. That looks real nice for Yetis.
Yep, I totally agree. And let's see. So nomads have gone ahead and made a temple. They opened with 3 dwellings on that center continent, which I think makes a lot of sense in this matchup. They immediately went for Earth 1, which is interesting. It's a fairly high scoring track. I wonder though what their plan is going to be from here, because they got blocked off of all the digs. Oh, but they do have they were in the 4 seats. They are on the dig bonus. So they can still easily get out a dwelling here.
Yeah. And then they'll be first to pass in all likelihood.
Yep. Yeah.
And then
So
they would have. Sorry, I'm probably saying the same thing. They'll have everything stored up, all their power ready for double dig in round 2.
yeah, actually, I was a bit suspicious of the chump here, but I actually think it makes quite a bit of sense the more that I'm looking at this because they're going to end with Temple 3 dwellings. They're going to be first to pass on all these coins, and they're getting double dig into that dwelling round too. So I think this is kind of a smart Earth 1 pick here from Gary Giraffeville.
Yeah, yeah. We should talk about we do have the those point differentials on the board there that we have. I know they said they're playing they don't know who each other is in this game. The players don't know who they are. But we can see here for our purposes the point differential.
Yep.
So that conspirators lead or that bid down actually isn't that much because they're up 7.5 on Gary and 8.5 on Panda there. So it does.
Yeah, that's a really important thing to point out. Actually, yeah, we or at least I thought conspirators looked pretty strong here right off the bat, and then you add in the fact that they have an 8.5 point lead. I think this is looking pretty good from conspirators here. But yeah, that is important to point out that the players when they were playing this game didn't know who had the point advantage, so there was no way that there could be any targeting or anything going on. Okay, so
it does look like conspirators went with your line there, buying that priest, which is great because they're not getting, and based on our estimation, not getting double dig in round 2 either. So those extra cult spades to get them off the ground seems like a great idea.
Yep, I really like that. I imagine those will go on D4 and F4 probably. And again, conspirators just getting so much leech stumped on them here.
Wisp go temple.
Oh, interesting.
With the TP spade in the east, not on G5 for an easy dwelling there.
Yeah, you'd think if they were going to go temple, that spade would have gone to G5, so now they could build out another dwelling.
Maybe it looks like, are they going water too?
No, yeah. Oh, awesome. 2 water, 2 poles is what we're thinking. This will be great. Okay, so yeah, Wisps are making sure they secure that spade for F7. Even so, I wonder if it wasn't better to still put that dig on G5 and then put one of those spades on F5. So then next round you could upgrade G5 and then get the dwelling down on F5. But I guess this works pretty similarly. It's just one less dwelling this round.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad to end with 1 worker and 2 coins just ready to go there. It'd be nice to translate that into an extra worker income. It's 2 more points next round too. This feels like this might be, especially with the limited space, maybe a sort of an awkward track for Wisp a little bit, maybe a pretty point greedy game. Water 2 is kind of that hybrid economy scoring favor. It gets you a few more points in cults at the end. And without a TP tile for scoring, with round 4 digs, they don't necessarily upgrade digs. We might be looking at a little Wisp making an effort to get every single point they can out of this game.
Yep, I think that makes a fair amount of sense. I am, pretty much all the way through round 1 here. I am a little worried about Wisps, I think. Their game seems definitely the most suspect here. We see a really strong opening from Yetis, a pretty equivalently strong opening from Nomads, and then Conspirators are going to get these 2 spades off of the cults and have gotten just a ton of leech dumped onto them. So, yeah, I'm a little worried about Wisps here.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're you could see, Wisps with all those spades they get, they can generate economy as the game goes on. they can get by with a lot of different things. It just seems like everybody else is off to a pretty great start here, and just comparatively, they don't have that same sort of explosiveness right off the bat.
Yeah, the one thing that they might have going for them is I can see a line here where they end up getting 3 round 5 towns. I don't see any need for them to complete a town early, and then I think they could probably go for a sort of round 3, round 4 stronghold to place a dwelling to get ready for a 3rd town in round 5. So that could be a saving grace for Wisps if they manage to get 3 towns carved out by round 5.
Yeah, they're just gonna need some other points in there somewhere. Cults, and that's where Water 2 might help. Cults are gonna have to be part of it, and connection's gonna be critical to get through somewhere up there. Because
connects.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, do you have the green there? That's E, and is going to get taken. You're already building up towards the edge here. You have that gray at the top that'll be open, but like, do you really want to double dig a gray to make a 5 hex town for connection? Maybe you can do it in round 6 because again, there's probably not going to be much pressure on that. And if you can use your stronghold, like you were saying, to get up to A11, and that's how you expand up that way. Or I mean, it's only 1 off from D5 too, but it's gonna be an interesting path forward.
Yeah, and again though, it's like connecting for Wisps here. How many network points are they really hoping for? I think the best that they can really shoot for is 6. I just don't see, especially after the start, them beating Nomads or Yetis or even really Conspirators. I mean, Conspirators are getting 2 spades off the Cults here. I think they're going to be able to pretty easily ship to a bunch of natural grays in round 2 and 3. So I don't know. Even if Wisp managed to connect, which, as we said, might take a lot of inefficient digging, it might not even be enough against what looks to be 3 pretty strong network games.
Wisp just took the spade there. I wonder if they'll actually rush the 2 key town.
Oh, that's interesting.
An option in the west there, because if you build that second TP on E7, suddenly you'll turn E10 blue right there. E11 use the spade on G5, and then there's your town. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's worth. It's probably worth the 2 key town, even with like a 5-point boost later in the game for scoring towns. Is still worth it. Those late cult reward, like, I don't know. Actually,
yeah. Let's see. So could they 2 key town next round? The 1, 2. No, they don't have nearly enough to do that. I still think the 2 key town could definitely be worth it for them, especially with Water 2. It seems a little tricky, but yeah, I think if they did it by mid round 3, I think that would be definitely worth the 5 points that they'd forfeit from forming a town early. Another interesting thing here is we see Conspirators going double temple, which isn't something I had thought of. They must have taken the workers. Yep. I wonder if they go double econ here or if they just chump Earth 1. I could see either play making some sense.
Yeah. Well, currently their income for next round is there's a decon favor. Okay, 2 workers now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually,
without being able to pass them to a great decon tile.
Yeah, they're going to get 2 spades. They can build out 2 dwellings, and then probably a quick pass into round 3 for the coins action is my guess as far as what we'll see from Conspirators. So they're going to be aiming for sort of a mid-game stronghold is what it looks like. Probably whenever they can land on the big building tile is when they'll build it, which I like a lot here. I think that makes quite a bit of sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with that plan you just laid out, I would guess like round 4. I don't think you want to leave it to the last round, right? It's
No.
it's a nice, it's such a great, like a nice building, and it helps so much with like your lake game flexibility. But with 2 dwellings here, and then you're really going to want to put out dwellings in round 3 again too, to match the track. I would aim at like round 4, maybe round 5 to help with town forming.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking is conspirators. It looks like they're going to have pretty easily 2 towns ready to go by round 5, and I would imagine one of those will include the stronghold. So we see, as we thought, nomads go with the double dig on E2 G2. Makes a lot of sense. Carve out the town there in the west, and then just secure some space and connection with G2. Let's see, and Wisps go ahead and take that first priest to fire, which I like from them, and I think this supports what you said with maybe them going for an early 2-key town. I think that would make quite a bit of sense for them here.
Yeah, and nice to get that 4 power bump. It's not the best cult reward, but it's something. And you have your water that puts it to good use.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, they were going fast here. So what did Yetis did something, and then Conspirator sent first priest to Earth. Oh wow, that was a pretty juicy priest for them.
Yeah.
That was 3 power, and it's going to be 5 coins plus at least 1 spade. Yeah, man, Conspirators just look so good here. I mean, even if Wisps take the 2-key town, they've got probably 2 cults locked up. Maybe they don't close both them out in time for someone to fight them on one of them, but still, that's some good cult rewards at the very least. And they have another priest in hand, so yeah, I'm really liking Conspirators here.
Yetis with 7 workers to start round 2.
Yeah, that is crazy.
What did we say that? What was their first move here?
I'm not sure actually.
I'm not sure.
I was trying to figure it out, but they didn't build anything.
They're on the big building tile here. I wonder if they go Sanctuary or Stronghold, because they're another one. Because their big buildings are 4 power value each, they could go for that quick town in the center too. Late towns are a little, there's the Sanctuary. You get a scoring favor. There's one right there.
Oh, right.
You can get that early if you want it.
Yeah, I forgot that their Sanctuary is 4 power. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really interesting. I wonder if they town this round then. Although I don't know. I guess making a TP with those round 4 digs coming up does seem a little counterproductive.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little awkward with power because like you so badly want to like use your power efficiently on power actions. Spending 1 power as a coin just to build a TP, because what are you even getting with? I mean, I guess you could do 2-key and send that priest to fire to get the firework, because again, power is better for you. That might be worth it.
Yeah, that'd be it'd be 2 coins and a spade as well. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting decision they're going to have to make here, because the other thing, I mean, they're pretty coin tight right now, and there's some coins in this game, but we are missing the coin and cult step tiles, so it's slightly coin tight, and just they're definitely going to want to upgrade their digs by round 4. So managing that along with expanding a little bit, I think is going to be sort of tricky for them.
Yeah, sure.
Air 2 is kind of a surprising favorite choice to me, just because I think they're going to want to upgrade their digs so quickly. I would have thought that maybe like Fire 1 or even Earth 2 is a much more consistent choice with wanting to upgrade digs.
Yeah, but with how well they use power, if they have the stronghold up, especially, then they can just like take a coins action whenever they want it, and that makes Air 2 by itself more than worth it most of the time.
Right. Actually, yeah, I didn't think about that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, once they get that stronghold up, I forgot they can infinitely take coins actions. Yeah, so that
And
does make
the
Earth
power
2.
action costs one less, so it's 3
Yep.
power for 7 coins, which is just like a magnificent conversion. If you can get that really rolling, and you have your digs up, then like you just take workers and coins, and you can do some pretty crazy stuff. But you have
That
to
makes
get it
sense.
to that point first, and that's the hard hurdle to get to.
Yep.
Um,
And okay, yeah, and I see some people in the chat saying Air 2 is pretty standard with Yetis. Okay, so that's just me not knowing how to play them. We do see them pass onto the 6 coins, which is really, really nice for their economy here.
yeah, yeah, because you have to
Uh,
assume Nomad. Oh man, Nomad's passed first too onto ship scoring, which had 2 coins on it. They'll take a coins action. They'll up ship. Oh, that's beautiful.
Twice. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, you know, I still like conspirators quite a bit here, but nomads look really, really good as well. They're going to be able to put out. I mean, they can also hard dig beat. Wow, they can get out. I mean, they're not going to have the dwellings for all this, but they could get up to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll have like 6 spots available to build if they hard dug B2.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be a crazy next round for nomads.
Yeah, that's really great for them. Um, Also, conspirators getting a third dwelling out this round is nice. They looks like they took single spade on D7 up there and used what I assume is an extra one of their priests as a worker, which is great because they're going to overproduce priests pretty soon,
Yep.
anyways. Especially with that round 3 cult reward.
Yeah, that is always the thing with opening double temple is balancing, you know, all those priests to the cults with the overproduction, and you do end up usually in these rounds 2 and 3 down converting a couple to workers just to, you know, help your economy move along and so you're not overproducing uh, priests in the later rounds. They're having a bit of coin troubles, although they have a fair amount of leech in bowl 3 that can be used as coins. And it looks like they're going to outlast wisps and get the spade tile here. I guess unless wisps decide to take a priest or workers, which they do. Okay.
That would have been a really nice spade for conspirators.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what Wisp's plan with this priest is. Maybe to send it to air.
Just get the jump.
Yeah, just get the cult points, especially if they're going for this early 2 key town like we think they might be. That could put them in a really dominant cult position. Let's see. Conspirators are passing here. They'll probably pass for the big building tile. Although I guess they could take workers to try. No, but they still couldn't outstall Wisps because Wisps still can send that priest to a cult.
Yeah, and that would be a really ugly workers action.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah, but none of those tiles are particularly exciting for them. Like I said, they could really just use some coins, but they're not going to get a coins action. And that 6 coin tile is just it's a treasured thing, especially in a game without like major other coin sources. It just makes your round so much easier if you can just pass on to 6 coins.
Yeah, and you know, in the chat here, a couple people are pointing out we think Yetis are going is upgrading digs by round 4 as well. I mean, they have a really, really good economy. They have Earth 1. They're going to get a coins action here, so they have the coins for it. So it'll be interesting how they if they prioritize that over the digs. But there's a possibility they can get both here.
Yeah, it's going to be tight to have enough coins for like 2 ship upgrades here and 2 dig upgrades because you're going to need an extra priest too somewhere
Yeah.
in there. Like let's say they take a coins action, they'll have 19, but then you do 2 ship upgrades and 3 dwellings, and you're down to 5.
Yeah.
Um, so unless they can get on the big building, I wonder if this is one because getting those ship upgrades and the dwellings out this round is so good. Like in no situation do I want to not do that if I can.
Yeah.
Um, I wonder if they could even like half upgrade digs. I mean, people talked about before, like just like upgrade
I
them
love
once,
doing
take
that.
a
Yep.
couple hard digs, and just get a few extra points out of that.
Yeah.
Because they might have a big worker boost.
Yeah, I think that's probably their best option. I'm a big fan of the single dig upgrade. I think it's very underutilized. And yeah, I totally agree with you in that they're definitely going to want to upgrade ship and get these dwellings out. There's no world where they're not doing that. So I think the single dig upgrade might be the way to go because then next round they can just, like you said, hard dig a couple of times, maybe carve out that northern town up there from B2. What is that? B2, A5, A6, A7. Do a couple hard digs up there, and then they have their second town carved out. I wonder also if they do go with this single dig upgrade, if they try and get a third town with a bridge to like I6, I7.
Yeah, it's a nice option if you have the digs upgraded. It'd be tough to pull that off by round 5, but that gives you something to work towards in round 6 too, in a big building round. Um,
Right. And the other thing with round 5 towns and round 6 big buildings is like, for example, if nomads want to sanctuary town in through D3, as far as points, it's really no difference if they sanctuary in round 5 or round 6 because either way you're scoring the 5 points either from building the big building or from the town. So they could also delay a town um, until round 6 if they need to.
or use the upgraded digs to make that western town a 4 hex town.
Right. Oh, exactly. Yeah,
just
and
take
just
like F1. Oh, Yetis though.
oh, interesting. Okay, so what happens? So Yeti's
Update
upgraded
shipping.
Schick, and then did they hard dig that or did they? Yeah, they must have hard dug
They
it.
hard dig it.
Wow, really interesting. I mean, it hurts nomads.
Mm-hmm. And it gives Yeti that space, that B2 hex. Like we haven't talked about it at
Hmm.
all. And maybe it's because they're white and not black, so we don't like see that tension
Yeah,
right off the bat in the same way. But that's always such a pivotal hex. It gives both the chance to do it. Conspirators will get to C2 before too long. So you have your neighbor there if you want to make a town eventually, and that's great. And especially for black going double east, you really do have to claim your space there. You don't have unlimited expansion
yeah,
opportunities.
yeah. And I mean, even this could be a. They could even make 3 towns up there. Oh, nope, never mind. Wisps, go ahead and take B3.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's a world where they carve out like B3, A4, A3 for a town entirely up there in the northwest, but Wisps have rendered that impossible. Makes sense though. I mean, they need either B3 or C4 for a town, and if they want to do like a third town through C4, then they really need just B3.
Yeah. And
So
Yetis might still have enough to dig because so A5 is yellow, which you think is like 2 digs worse than black. But for Yeti, since black was already a dig anyways, it's only one more worker to get that space instead. You've got the West as your neighbor at B3. I think if Yetis want a third town, they're still in position to grab it up there.
yep, I would totally agree with you. The thing that I'm worried about for Yetis though is they need to upgrade digs next round, or at least we think they want to upgrade digs, but their coin situation isn't super great. I wonder if they're going to pass here pretty soon for a couple coins and then the coins action as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be pretty important for them to get their digs upgraded and then still have coins left over.
Yeah, and this is where the not having your stronghold up is, it just like reduces your flexibility, because you have that beautiful 7 power in bowl 3 right there. Like for Yetis, that's just that's a gold mine. That you can do so much with all of your power in bowl 3, but that coins action is gone, and that coins action is what's holding them back from so much else that they'd like to do. And that's tough to see. I wonder what, maybe, I don't know. A single dig. I was wondering if they used it on a spade just to get the dwelling out this round, and to use it efficiently, because dropping like 3 power for 3 coins here, to be efficient charge, I'd much rather use that on a spade right now and get that dwelling out, if you can still pass early enough to get the coins.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, because you're upgrading your digs so soon, it sort of seems wasteful to me to spend that much power on a single spade. I mean, that's already sort of a inefficient action, so that feels a little bad to me. But again, if they pass first here, which it seems like they're still probably going to, and get that coins action. But even with, so let's, if Yetis pass here, they're probably pass for the spade, so that's 3 coins. Then they take the coins action, they'll have 10. But then they're just going to spend all those on dig upgrades, and they're not producing any coins natively. So I don't know. This seems a bit sketchy for Yetis.
Oh, conspirators.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So
they jumped way early.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They didn't really have a lot else to do.
Yeah. So down converted 2 priests into 2 workers.
Yeah. Yeah, and so they're going to get the coins action. And then they'll have quite a few resources. They can probably afford a hard dig or 2. They're already on the spade, I guess, but I don't know what else all those workers are going to be for.
It'd be nice to like they could upgrade digs, but like what do you do with your digs right here, without a shipping advance?
Without shipping, yep.
I don't know if they'd have enough. They'll have the priest, but that's a lot of coins for. I mean, though, if they just like get, they could just dig bomb in round 4. You have that coin income from the cults afterwards. Maybe that's enough to kind of like propel you forward after that point. You're set up for 2 towns in round 5. There are worse plans. And you could just entirely. I don't know if anybody wants the C4 to A11 stretch, but conspirators could, with all those workers, could just like turn that all gray.
Yeah,
and build next to Yetis on B4.
Yeah, they would need a shipping.
Yeah.
Still, which is a lot of coins.
Yeah.
And they also really want to make sure that they carve out their towns for next round. And the other thing is they haven't, they have Water 2 and Earth 2. There's 1 spare copy of Earth 1 floating around. So they're going to have to think about scoring at some point here as well. I wonder if they go Stronghold. They take a favor tile with Stronghold, so they can secure themselves Earth 1 if they want after the coins action. Although I guess Wisps could pretty easily take it before then. Although again, Wisp's coin situation is not looking too great. I don't know. I was with the round 4 digs. You always hope for a bunch of factions that are gonna, do 800 digs. But
yeah,
I don't know who, if any of these players, are upgrading digs.
Yeah, round 4 digs sparks a lot of dreaming. But turns out digs are really expensive to upgrade. And if like it takes a lot of investment in the moment and afterwards. It like burns a lot of resource that you could use on other things here. And while there's not, round 5 towns are nice, like with round 6 big buildings, there's not like is a moderate amount of scoring, you do want to make sure that like you can hit the scoring opportunities that are there. Make sure you get those round 5 towns. Make sure you have enough to push on network and whatever else you need to get. It's a tricky balance.
Yeah, I think so nomads, let's see. So they're doing their dwelling spree. They're going to put one more dwelling out and then pass for 6 points here. It looks like they're probably not going to upgrade digs. They're more going for a maybe, a hard dig or two next round just for a few points, I would imagine. Set up that probably that 4 hex town there in the west. Their second town looks tricky though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know quite where that's coming from. They could try and maybe like triple dig I6, but then they'd also need a bridge. They haven't carved out any space there in the east, although maybe they could get F5, G5, H7. I don't know. It seems a little tricky.
Yeah. I wonder if they even go for that second town. I mean, obviously, towns are great. Towns are great. Like round 5 towns, you're going to score for them. It's just going to take a lot to get there. And like if you really push that round 5 town, you're not getting water 1, or at least in time to score it as you're building the TPs. I wonder if it's more efficient. They're on the dwelling scoring out. Try to like hit the bonus tiles as best as possible, and just score based on that rather than trying to, especially losing B2, try to force inefficient towns.
Yeah, that makes a fair amount of sense. They have Earth 1. They have a pretty good points lead right now. They're on the dwelling scoring. Their network is probably gonna win. I can't imagine, maybe conspirators, but I think nomads are probably the favorite to win network, at least at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, their cults are a little sad, but yeah, I could see just really trying to be points greedy, hit those pass tiles well, form that one town in round 5, maybe build a big building in round 6, and just try and hope that that's enough points along with network.
Yeah. One thing I'm just noting here is D4. That's the red hex there that conspirators would really, really like to have. Nomads have 2 ship and a big pile of workers.
Ooh, yep.
If they wanted to be really mean, they could hard dig D4, which would pretty much guarantee them a network win.
Yeah, the downside to that is they can't build on it, at least right away. They don't have a dwelling. So I would imagine that unless they, yeah, I would imagine that conspirators can get that before the nomads can build on it.
Yeah, I didn't notice the lack of dwellings so much for that overly cruel plan.
And so we do see wisps, I think, hard digging and building C4. So that seems like a play to go for a third town there in the northeast. I think they'll have it, but it might not be a round 5 town because that's quite a few more digs still, along with needing to finish out these other 2 towns first.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how rough their current resource situation is.
Yeah.
I was thinking they could build a couple trading posts this round and start working towards it, but they cannot.
Yeah, and again, I think this all sort of stems from their fairly slow start in round 1. They went temple dwelling TP, which means, they were only producing 2 workers going into round 2. And I think that sort of just stunted their growth throughout the rest of the game.
And they haven't built a trading post since then.
Yeah, that is true. That's a good point.
3,
yeah.
That's so weird to see for a Wisp game. Like that's their thing. That's that's right. How they get an edge. That's what they can do. And they haven't done it. The points, like they're in a pretty good point situation. And there's no trading post tile in the game, and there hasn't been around for scoring it since round 1. So there's maybe a little less incentive, but that's weird though.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, looking at the favor tiles, you're talking about points there. We've only seen the only scoring favors so far have been 2 copies of Earth 1 taken. So we still have all 3 water ones left, which could be pretty important going into those round 5 towns. You want to be scoring those TPs. Wisps just build another TP on E10. That's interesting. I guess maybe angling for 2 towns next round with a Sanctuary for Fire 2.
That's an awkward move there. They converted 3 workers into 3 coins to do that.
They kept instead
yeah,
of burning 3 power. Oh wow.
I guess they're hoping they'll still pass first for the coins action.
Yeah, but that leaves them with only 6 workers.
Yeah. And they're using the spade, but they can't build on it right now. I mean, they wouldn't have the resources to build on it anyways, I guess.
Yeah, it seems iffy. Yeah, they're on the big building tile too, and they're not going to be able to score any of those big buildings. Yeah, seems a little rough for Wisps. I'm not going to lie. They.
Oh, and look at that, Nomads. Whoa. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
What the heck? Oh, okay, I see. So they just want to score. Yeah. Get that coins action. Get back on the ship scoring. Score those 9 points. Do your 1 town in round 5. Yeah, interesting. This is a pretty greedy Nomads game, just as far as the really attacking the bonus tiles, taking Earth 1.
That makes me really wonder who Gary is, the draft player. I I don't have a lot of confidence in my guesses at this point, but
yeah,
that feels a lot like a Barnawal move to me.
Barnawal. I could also see it being DeepFinesse too. He really likes Earth 1. At least I've seen in a lot of the games that I've played. And I think this is just a really smart, greedy game. So yeah, I could see it being either of them.
Yeah, it's a huge pile of resources they're going to have. Maybe still to only form 1 town, but I think they're on the ship scoring. They have the points lead already. They'll win network. If they can get water 1, maybe not build their. Well, we'll see what Yetis do. But Yetis don't even have the coins to kind of like push the dwellings around the side. I was wondering if the Nomads can save their sanctuary for round 6, but we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely think they could, but if they can get water 1 with the sanctuary after the coins action still, I think that's probably their best play.
Yeah.
That's just so many points for them. And yeah, so we see no one upgrading their digs. That is so sad. I thought maybe we would still have a chance of conspirators doing it. They had a big pile of workers, but it looks like they're going with some TPs instead. I was saying how much I liked conspirators, and I thought I did, but man, looking at their game now, I sort of see some problems with it. I mean, they don't have any scoring favors. They're 35 points behind Nomads. They'll definitely get those 2 towns next round, so that'll be a pretty good points boost. And they're winning 2 cults. But other than that, I don't know. This is starting to look a little sketchier than I initially thought it was for them.
They still have 6 structures. That's
right.
Not very
exactly.
Yeah, with no color neighbors. They got 2 spades in round 1 in the round 1 cult reward.
Yep. Yeah. In the middle of round 4 to only have 6 structures is a little concerning. I wonder what their angle is with this TP here. Are they going stronghold now? Oh wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It'd be really nice to be on that big building tile like they were last round to make this make a little bit more sense. I mean, they can, I guess, still hard dig D4, have a lot of resources left.
Yeah, and I guess this makes some sense, right? They'll probably get on big building for next round. Um, although I guess maybe Yetis take that before they can.
And it does let them swap. They can get Earth One and Water One this way because they can swap out maybe
Yep.
Water Two for Water One here. Um, get ahead of that. And then and part of only having 6 structures means they have a lot of structures left to build if they have the opportunity. So like Earth One now, they haven't missed that much. Um,
Yeah, and they can still, I mean, they still have a lot of native grays they can build on. They can, once they dig C4, they have or once they dig D4, they have C2. And then they're going to take G3, which on 2 ship gives them H6 and I9. So yeah, this Water One will be a fair number of points for them.
Yeah, it's just and now they have the big influx of coins coming too. This has been a really coin tight game.
Yeah.
Nobody taking fire one. That coins action every round. Like it's whoever gets that coins action, or sometimes the big coin tile is the only person who's had the resources to like really push their game at any particular time. And the conspirators they've never had. I don't know if they've been on the 6th coin tile. I don't know if they've gotten the coins action. It's just been really tight for them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it's kind of a shame because conspirators are good in low coin games generally because they get those 2 points per favor tile. But yeah, they've been really tight on resources pretty much all game.
Yeah, I guess that's the downside of going 2 temples off the bat. You get those coins early, but once you start 2 temples, when's your next favor tile coming? Like there's so much of a need to get dwellings out after that, so you're not pushing your stronghold, like we said, until, as you predicted a while ago, until round 4, and that kind of gives you your steady coin income coming in. But otherwise, you're just a normal faction with 2 temples. Once you've got that out of the way,
right?
You don't really have a special edge there.
Yeah, yeah, and we're at the end of round 4 here, so it's kind of, I think, a good time to look and evaluate here. I think both of us seem pretty confident that nomads are in the lead here. At least I would probably say so. But also, I was pretty down on Wisp's game for a lot of this, and their economy still isn't amazing, but they are getting 2 towns next round. There's a chance that they get some network points here. I mean, like we said, conspirators haven't built many structures, and if they can finagle their way through B5, A10, A11, they can connect off of 2 ship from D8 and probably still get, at least 6 network points. They're winning 2 Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sort of turning around on Wisp's game a bit here. They're going to need to make sure they secure Water 1, I would imagine. Which they can do next round.
At the end, do you think they can do that and get 2 towns?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
for those 2 towns.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it'd be really hard to make 2 7-structure towns with their resources next round. That's going to be a tough decision for them. They might have to just settle for like an Air 1 round 6 as their. I don't know. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. And they're not really well positioned right now to take advantage of any, like, they need to get a scoring bonus tile in round 6 too. Because like the coins are really nice right now. It gets their economy back and going, but points are still going to be a little tight for them.
Yeah, and they just need to make sure they don't pass first into round 6. Everyone else is going to be on a scoring tile, so they just need to make sure they outlast someone here, which I think they can. I think. Oh, I see. We got the second. Nice. Okay, sweet. Got the second video pulled up here. What were we talking about here? Oh yeah, Wisps. Yeah. So I think, with Water 2, they can probably manipulate it so that they don't pass first, but I don't know. It's going to be fairly tough everyone else has pretty good resource pools, as well as a couple towns coming in. So there's going to be a lot of ability for pretty much all of these factions to stall.
And as we're looking at it, you mentioned the conspirators passing onto the big building tile right there is really nice. All of a sudden, that game it looks a lot better. You've got your 2 towns ready to go. You've got Earth 1, Water 1. You have likely 8 points if you build that sanctuary in the middle, and a lot of resources. Then you factor in the 2 cults, and yeah, the network race is going to be really interesting here. Like Twitch said, mentioned like how Nomad's network is capped a little bit. Like they have all these resources, but it's like there aren't a ton of easy hexes left for them. Depends on how they want to score. Yetis are in a corner, so like I don't know as much. What were you saying?
Oh, for Nomads, they are sort of capped, but I mean, if they get 3 ship here, they have 2 open yellows, and then if they dig D6, that opens up another yellow for them as well on B6. So I mean, they can, and they can probably hard dig out at least 1 more. So I think they can pretty safely get down to at least 3 structures here, which again, like you were saying, with Yetis sort of trapped and not having digs upgraded, I think that's going to pretty soundly beat them. Wisps are going to have, it's going to be pretty resource intensive for them to connect. So while I do agree that they're sort of capped Nomads, I think they're still in a pretty good position to get quite a few network points here.
This is hold on. What did Wisp just double dug?
Yeah, I was looking at that too. How do they still have so much power? Did they two? Oh, they two. Wait, no.
No, they didn't. That only took a single cult town.
Yeah, single cult town for still just 7 power though. That's quite a bit of power.
Yeah. I wonder, maybe the A8, whatever that is just like for network purposes. I'm wondering why they didn't single dig.
Or I mean, even if they didn't single dig, why not put that second spade on B5?
I guess because you're anticipating doing a TP on
C4.
C4. But why not just do? Yeah, I'm with you. Why not just do it first?
Yeah, and then you can just TP B5 and then get A10.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's where it's like you get the extra. There's an extra blue hex this way on the board, rather than kind of waiting. Eventually, you're going to want that TP on C4. That's going to give you a spade, and if you just do it on D6, you're sort of wasting it.
That's true.
Potentially making Nomad's life a little. Oh, but then you turn it gray for that doesn't. Yeah, don't really like that.
Yeah, and now they can, I guess this sort of makes sense because now they're going to need 2 TPs up there anyways, and now they can use them both efficiently, C4 to build B5 and then B5 to build A10. So actually that does make some sense. And I don't think A8's in any trouble of getting dug by anyone. So yeah, it's just sort of a free blue that's hanging out for them now.
Yeah, Yetis never upped digs last round. Just didn't have the resources for it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, the Yetis are looking a bit hard to play here. I think it comes back to that sanctuary. I mean, it got them Earth 1, but it was pretty intensive for them to build. It was at the cost of ever getting their stronghold out, probably. And it sort of prevented them from upgrading digs into round 4.
Yeah, I think. They had power. They got a decent amount of leech right there. Look how conspirators are built around them. That's tough. That's real tough from a Yeti's perspective.
Yep, and so, looks like Nomads are going Sanctuary Water 1. I think that makes a lot of sense. They got to get every point that they can take here.
Yep. conspirators will get to bridge for their town instead of building the sanctuary, so they kind of get both both the town scoring and the sanctuary scoring next round, which is nice.
Yeah, although I guess it's probably still better to bridge. They're on the big building tile right now, so it is 4 points if they
Forgot
build
about
that
that.
sanctuary.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is better.
If it's just a 1 point difference, and you get like, and you get the favor tile discount when you build the sanctuary, anyways.
Yeah,
Anything else?
I think I
Go
might
ahead.
go with the bridge because, as we were saying, the network race could actually be pretty close here. I mean, you know, conspirators didn't build out much in the first 4 rounds, but the nice thing is, you know, they didn't have a color neighbor here, so there are so many grays just sitting there for them to take. I could see this being a game where they just don't build their sanctuary at all. They take that second town, and then they just try and invest their resources in getting as many hexes built as possible into round 6 to try and maximize whatever network they can take.
Yeah, I actually really like that, because if you could bridge and then get some town with enough resources to advance ship a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe even hard dig G3 there, and then build those couple
Yep.
grays down there. That looks really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And let's see here. They took the 11-point town, conspirators did, which is really interesting to me. I mean, you know, we haven't really dissected, you know, like I'm sure these players are doing when they were playing the network race here, but I would imagine it just off the bat looks close enough to me that you would want resources.
Yeah.
Um, the even just like a priest, you know, for an extra worker that you might need down the road seems worth those 2 points to me. That's sort of a surprising take.
Yeah, when you have Earth One, Water One, you have opportunities to score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty skeptical of 11-point towns in general.
Yep,
Um,
I agree.
like, unless you really know, and how can you really know in round 5? Um,
Right, how tight it's going to be.
yeah. Then
Yeah,
again, like the people playing in this game, like never really know. Hi, everybody. Sorry.
Oh. Um, the other thing that's nice for conspirators is they do have 2 spades coming in at the end of this round. Um,
Yeah.
from the Earth cult. So I wonder if they try and get their ship up to 2 in order to put them in the most useful places. You know, if they do I6,
Yeah.
that gets them G1 and F1 probably. A3 would get them A2. G3 obviously gets them 2 grays as well. Yeah, wow. They have a lot of hexes they can build on in round 6.
Mm-hmm. And they will still get another. If you get the 11-pointer now, you still have like resources from a second town coming in here. The spades, yeah, that's a great point about the spades. That really opens the game up.
Yeah. That makes that 11-point town actually seem
Mhm.
a fair bit better now that I'm really looking at it because I mean, look, they have 5 dwellings on their board right now that they can build out next round and some this round. They really don't need a ton of resources left to form this town. They only need one more ship upgrade. Yeah, this is coming together for conspirators.
Yeah, that's one of those times you realize that the list of who these players might be, like who might be playing here. It's like we'll give you, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Feels like a lot of like
Yeah, right.
argument. I mentioned to someone before, like I don't think I've ever lost a Terra Mystica argument to Jekyll. Like she's always just right about it.
Yeah.
So like that feels like one of those ones where Jekyll takes. That's like, what are you doing? It's like, oh no, you're actually like entirely right.
Yeah. We forgot that
So
these are 4, you know, of
yeah,
probably the best players playing Terra Mystica. So
yeah, good on them.
yeah. Their
Yeah.
games are coming together. Makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Okay, so it looks like we haven't talked about Yetis for a while. They're going to get 2 towns here. They took a single cult town with the first one. I guess just trying to scrape up as many cult points as they can.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have fire 2, so they're gonna have to build 2 TPs without water 1. for that second town, which is sad.
Or the stronghold. They could do stronghold here.
I kind of hate that, especially with stronghold scoring next round. But
yeah,
and it doesn't give any income for round 6. I mean, the other thing they do it. Okay, well, what do I know?
they're on the dwelling tile too. So TPs not only do not have water 1, but they like each TP loses them a point too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess I forgot that their stronghold is 4 power, so they do now not have to build anything else for the town. So I guess maybe that makes sense.
And now they have 5 power in both 3 that they can actually use. They can take a coins action. It does round things out, but taking it right before is pain. But I don't think there was a clean and easy way to form. Other than bridging across, there's not a clean and easy way to make that town.
Yep. Okay, and conspirators
clean way. Yep.
Conspirators do go for the sanctuary here. Okay, for water 2, I see, to close out water. It is nice. I guess it really is a 4-coin sanctuary because they get the 2 coins from the favor tile. So that is pretty cheap. I think I like that better than the bridge. I don't know. It's probably pretty close.
It's fun to give away water 2 in one round and then take it right back the next round.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they have some charm to them. that's just a fun play. You do that with a smile on your face.
Yep. So they form
close out 2 cults.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say they form their 2 towns. They're winning 2 cults. It looks like they have a pretty good shot at getting second on fire, at least, if not somehow finding a sneaky way to win fire.
Yeah.
With their favor tile swapping. So they're going to get quite a few cult points. Their raw points have climbed back. They're only 10 points back of nomads now. And like we said, next round they can build a lot of dwellings. They have Earth 1, Water 1. Yeah, this is really coming together for conspirators.
Mm-hmm. What have nomads been up to? So they sanctuary for water 1 and a couple TPs there. That all makes sense. Where did they go from here? Oh,
yeah,
ship there too.
Yep, they got their ship up to 3, so they can build those 2 natural yellows that they have immediate access to, B1 and what is that, H1?
Yeah. Or it might be better to build out a couple TPs here.
A couple TP. Oh, I guess, yeah, that is true. They have so many workers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, you're totally right. I would definitely build a few TPs here.
And that the coin income coming in is nice too.
It is so important. Yep. Mm-hmm. And in the, we said no one wants to be the first person to pass here. In the sort of stall war, everyone still has quite a few resources left. This is going to be a battle, I think, for who can hold out the longest.
Yeah, Yetis can take a couple priests if they want to. Nomads have 14 workers.
Yeah.
Conspirators might be the tightest here. Now they have enough power to single spade too. They could upship. It gets a little tight to try to get the dwellings out.
Well, actually, the other thing, we haven't looked at wisps for a while. Are they getting a second town this round? I don't think they are.
No, every time I look at the wisps board, they just have fewer resources than I expected.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, although I guess, actually, what the angle probably is here? I wonder if they're going to try and build both their big buildings next round and just finish the 2 towns that way.
Yeah,
because they can stronghold, like C4 or B5 to finish out that town, and then sanctuary on D5. Maybe with a fire 2 pole somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. Seems like it's good, but then again, they do that. That's pretty resource intensive. They still need to connect if they want any hope of network here. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be a race between Yetis and Wisps is what it's looking like for third place on network, do we think? And then it's going to be a battle between Nomads and Conspirators for first.
Yeah, they have so many open conspirators have so many open hexes.
Yeah.
And Nomads have so many resources. It looks like Nomads did build.
Yep, at least one TP.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I see.
And,
Yeah,
and
they
also,
went for.
when they got the dwelling in
Yeah,
there.
you're right. Yeah, so they got the dwelling and the TP. I imagine I mean, they could build another TP and another dwelling if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Their Colts are looking a bit sad. Doesn't look like they're going to scrape many Colt points here, but they do have a pretty big points lead. They're passing for 9 off ship scoring. I wonder if they try and build Stronghold next round on G2 in order to bridge I6 and finish out that second town.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me. I don't see any other bridge pressure. My
cat wanted to say hi.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes just a ton of sense.
Yep. Yeah, I think that their coin economy can probably afford it, especially if they build another TP here. They have all the workers that they need. Yep. Yeah, I think as long as they can get the bridge, that option makes the most sense. Scoomy asked if we're getting a reveal of all 10 or the winners interview first. I'm not sure. I think that all is happening, but I don't know the order of it. Let's see. Okay, so Conspirators dig build G3. I'm kind of surprised they didn't stall by just digging and not building. It seems like it's still going to be pretty tight between everyone. Oh, actually, no, wait. It looks like all Yetis can do here is build another TP, and then they have to pass.
Did Yetis, they double dug with their extra power? Is that what they did?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, yeah, somehow H2 and H3 got dug.
Yeah. And since they don't have any power left and don't have upgraded digs, I think that's it.
They must have, yeah. Build...
Interesting.
Yeah, are they trying for a... Wait, yeah, what are those digs? Because it's not going to be a town. So I wonder if they've sort of abandoned their hopes of a third town and are trying to just get as many hexes as they can.
Yeah, or maybe they can, let's see, they have a cult spade coming in. No, it's too many resources for 4 towns.
For 4, oh yeah, there's no way. There's no way. They have 2 coin income. Yeah, there's no way they can get 4 towns.
Yeah, maybe they're just they had power to spare. They don't have upgraded digs, so it's not just like pouring it into resources doesn't feel quite as like you're not as guaranteed to have an outlet for that. Maybe
right,
it's just pushing network a little bit.
But I don't know. I feel like there was still a route for a third town, right? Because if they double dug A3, they could
build the dwelling on A5 first and then double dig just to get yourself ready for the town.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder if they've just calculated it out and they just don't have enough to, because they don't have fire 2, so they have to build 3 TPs over there or do a temple for fire 2. And yeah, it seems like it might be just a bit too resource intensive for their 9 workers and 9 coins.
Yeah, and they don't have water 1.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So those TPs are really such a waste of resources if you can avoid them. All right, so, yep, as we thought, it looks like Yetis are going to lose this pass battle. They can build 1 more dwelling. Then Conspirators will have an action, Nomads will, and so will, well, actually, will Wisps.
Wisp could have two actions if
Yeah,
they
they could.
send
Yeah,
a priest and then build that dwelling on A8.
yeah, yep, yeah. You're right.
That
So
extra on A8 is explaining itself a little bit.
so let's see. So then Yetis will pass, and then after that, it'll probably be conspirators passing, then nomads passing. Okay, so yeah, so it seems like everyone will get a pass tile here except for Yetis going into round 6. Which seems bad for them. And also, they've already formed their 2 towns. They're only sitting at 80 points. Their cults aren't looking too great. Their network doesn't look like it's going to be super crazy here. Yeah, I'm a bit worried for Yetis now.
Yeah, it seems like both Yetis and Wisps have a lot of ground to make up, and not like Wisp could really stack up points though. If they build both big buildings, 2 towns, the stronghold is 7 points, that will catch them up. Yetis, I don't see that sort of comeback mechanism here. Anyway, that they're like jump ahead in points.
Wisps are pretty low on resources, but I think they'll have it seems to me like they're going to have basically just enough with the town bonuses and whatever they pass on to finish out these 2 towns here. It will be tight. I don't know how many more structures they're getting out though. Maybe 1 more. I mean, they'll need at least 1 more to finish the town on A10. But other than that, especially if they need to build both their big buildings, they might be ending with 5 structures on their board, or 4 structures on their board, which I think Yetis can probably at least get to, if not beat.
Yeah, Wisps are going to have, if they, I wonder if they pass here for resources instead of
Right. Yeah.
Look, I mean, their income is they don't have power, only 4 coins. Even just like building the sanctuary next round will be difficult. If they pass on to okay, Yetis end up passing first.
I see your point though. That would have been interesting. Maybe it was more worth it for Wisps just to take worker power there for the resources and the coins action.
Or a priest and 4 coins. Like 4 coins is a big deal for them right now.
Yeah,
like go ahead.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because they still could have taken the coins action then. They would have had just enough power. Yeah, that's an interesting decision. Because we'll see how close. I was gonna say we'll see how close they are to finishing these towns. But yeah, if they're slightly short on a few things, you wonder if it was almost worth more points just to pass for resources, especially because now they're getting ship scoring, and there's no way that they can upgrade their ship twice. I mean, they don't need to connect, and they have so many more uses for their coins. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
I imagine their last town is probably a ship town then, and that's just kind of what they go out on. Right. So I imagine what they want to do is sanctuary for Fire 2. They need a trading post for the town and to make space for that dwelling. They use the cult spade on A10 and then stronghold to fly there for free. So they just to do the bare minimum they need next round. They take a resource town with the first one, like maybe that coin or a power town if needed, and then a ship town with the last one, and that's the thing. Or maybe actually, weird it sounds, the 2 key. I don't know if that's reasonable, but it gives a lot of power. If they end up if they can get that one, though I guess the Fire 2 will get them over the fire bump anyways. But just to close out like a little bit of cult presence, but only 2 points in round 6 seems pretty tough too.
Yeah. I mean, it would be 9 power, which is a lot. It would secure them 2 cults. plus pretty good position on the other two, I could still see it being worth it, especially with both the 8-pointers being gone. Although it is, I mean, if you look at the points right now, even with all that, wisps are still at 71 points, whereas nomads and conspirators are at 112 and 97 respectively. So that's a pretty big gap to make up, even with two towns coming in. Yeah,
So I was going to note that nomads ended on the big building tile, which does support your stronghold and blast out that town plan. That seems really clean here.
Who dug I6? It must have been some cult spades that we missed, but it's yellow, or it's red now somehow.
Oh, I would bet. I think a couple people dug it. Probably conspirators and then nomads afterwards. Maybe nomads.
Oh,
but maybe just to mess with conspirators and push the network race a little bit.
Yeah,
because
that's interesting.
The stronghold still makes sense here because you score 9 points for it, so they can take H4 without like any stress, but just to put a little extra pressure on conspirators.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It doesn't look like anyone has the extra resources to bridge block here, but if someone does end up with like 3 power just sitting around, nomads have so many more actions that they need to take before they can secure that bridge. Like they have to stronghold, dig, build, and then they can bridge. I guess they could do it now and probably not face any disruption.
Yeah, because like Wisp can't afford to just like use their stronghold to fly there.
Right.
As funny as that would be, they just like nobody has a lot of, like you're saying with the bridge, nobody's got a lot of extra resources. At no point has this been like a resource rich game.
Right.
Which is why the nomads like just using their cult dig on I6 to mess with conspirators. Conspirators only have at this point 7 workers. It's not like they're coming into this with this huge pile of resources like nomads have. So I kind of like flexing that a little bit and just saying like, hey, try to catch up with me.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a good move from nomads because the network race seems like it's between conspirators and nomads, as well as just the general game, I think. They both have a pretty good points lead. They're both on pass tiles. Conspirators have pretty good cults, which nomads don't. So yeah, I think nomads messing with conspirators just as much as they can. Yeah, and we see them take I6.
Got all those workers.
Yep, all those workers, and then also now this prevents conspirators from getting to G1 probably.
Yeah, they still have I5. Oh, but that extra ship upgrade. Well,
yeah,
they have to do it anyways though because they need to connect. No. Sorry. D6. D6. Yep.
Okay, so maybe their last 2 dwellings then go on A3 and A2 because if they take A3, that's still just 2 ship, and then they can get to A2. So that would leave them getting down to 3 structures. And nomads, if nomads build their stronghold here, I guess that still just gets them down to 3 structures. If they stronghold, then build the TP, and then 2 more dwellings. But even actually, that might be tough for them. They don't have any more yellows.
I think they'll probably have enough resources just to hard dig something. Like none of the great towns are left. If they take, stronghold bridge, TP, you have the stronghold dig for 1 and just like a hard dig for the other. That seems okay.
Maybe. Yeah, they'll probably have just enough to get down to 3. It looks like, I imagine we'll see a tie then for first on network between conspirators and nomads. I don't see conspirators getting down to 2. Oh, hello.
Hi, everybody. Wave hi, everybody. Sorry, you have headphones and you can't hear. Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, no, you're totally fine.
Good time. Yep.
I'm just looking here at what wisps are up to. It is rough for wisps right now. They formed that second town, but it looks like they're going to be short of the third.
The stronghold is cheap, right?
It's 4 and 4, I believe.
So they
So,
could, if
oh,
they use
actually, wow,
priestess
2
coins,
priestess coin. Oh my gosh.
or send priest to cults and get that power back.
Yeah,
Or if
that's
if they
kind
just
of
if they send one priest to air, they'll have
yeah,
8 power.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
And
man. That is
doable,
tight though. I guess they can do that. They can stronghold fly to A10 and then ship town to connect. But that still leaves them with, so they'll have 4 structures left on their board. Yeah, I guess Yetis don't look like they can get down to too much more than that. Wow, are Yetis trying to get this third town here in the southwest? It looks like I'm trying to look at their resources. Maybe they have just enough to do it with Fire 2.
Yeah.
Because they'll need 1, 2, 3, 4. They would need 6 more workers, right? 1, 2,
They have
5, 6. And they have the coins for it. So yeah, so okay, they are going to get this third town. And they can get down. Yeah, okay, so I think Wisps are just losing network regardless because Yetis have 3 spaces and all the resources they need to build on them. They're already connected off of 2 ship. So yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder, man, and this comes back to what we were talking about earlier. I wonder if it was better for Wisps just to pass early in round 5, forego those 6 ship scoring points, and just try and compete on network a little bit.
Yeah. They just don't have a lot of other open hexes though. Like where would they
Yeah, I guess that is true. Yeah,
like
and even
there's
with
no easy spot for like a TP to open up the dig
right,
with
exactly.
G6 TP, yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at that too. Yeah, they have no TPs that they can do for single digs that would allow them to open up another hex. Yeah, so man, this was just kind of a rough ending for the Wisps here.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, like, how many spare resources Nomads are going to have, for example. Like, I don't even know if they can secure out fire. Nomads might be able to take a fire 3 at some point. Although I guess maybe that's pretty hard if they still want to build Stronghold and get out 2 more dwellings. So maybe they do win 2 cults still.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem, again, like I said, enough to overcome it. It's almost like how they're only getting 6 points from ship scoring instead of the 9 points. They're just like a little short in all these things. And as I said from the start, like their opening just wasn't that explosive, and they never could really get over the hump. Nobody had that explosive of a game here. So when you have a less explosive start than everybody else, and they're struggling to keep up with all the resources they need, yeah, you can just see how Wisps just fall just a little bit too far behind there.
Yeah, I can't blame them. Wisps I think they're a pretty hard faction to get right. Personally, I struggle quite a bit with them. It's just there's such a balance between, TPs are like the worst building.
Yeah.
And so it sucks to have to build them. It's really hard to manage their economy, I think, and it's different from a lot of other factions. So yeah, I personally crash and burn with them quite often.
Yeah, it's like when you need spades, like because you need some extra spades, but you need them at the right times, and you really want some sort of reward for building TPs. I guess here, what you got?
Oh, sorry, Conspirators bridge blocked. Nomads didn't get it. Nomads didn't get it in time.
Oh,
thanks, Ghostly, in the chat for pointing that out. Wow, I wonder, was that a tempo thing? Did Nomads have a chance to bridge and didn't? I wish we don't have the game log, but I think that only happened pretty recently.
Probably right after the I6 dig.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, you wanted that town? Well, watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
And even so, I still think, will conspirators be able to get down to three structures now? Yeah, I guess they probably will. They still have that final favor tile swap, which is going to give them two extra
Yep.
coins, and they have just enough workers to hard dig A3, build on it, TP, and then build on A2.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty smart. It looks like it was a pretty smart bridge block from the conspirators, and I wonder if Nomads are kicking themselves right now for not securing it earlier, even if it's just to H4. Maybe you just have to risk it, at that point that's two digs away, and no one's really going to have the resources to mess with it if you build a stronghold.
And yeah, since like I said, the plan you just outlined for conspirators involves a hard dig, anyways. Taking I6, is it that big of a deal given that they can do A3 and A2, and they
Right.
don't have that many structures to exploit fully getting like G1 and F1 there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that I6 seems like it might have been a misguided block there from Nomads, because it looks like it might have cost them a town and doesn't really hurt conspirators at all. Yeah, Nomads are really thinking this. Nomads are really thinking this turn through.
Someone in the Twitch chat just said that Nomad rage quit.
Yeah, Nomads are. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see Lester saying clearly didn't see it coming. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I wonder now that they can't town, what do they pivot to? Do they still need to build stronghold in order to get down to three structures? I think they might.
Probably.
Yeah, and now
well,
they don't have those town resources coming anymore either.
Well, they could do temple TP. They have one open yellow and hard dig another, so they can get down to three structures. Not building the stronghold is 9 fewer points, and that's kind of tough. I don't know that any. I don't know. Some of those cult towns might be nice. I was thinking conspirators might take fire 3. I'll hop up there. It gives them a lot of power. But like Earth 3 would be 4, but 4 points isn't 9 points.
Yeah.
To do some
Yeah.
pretty straightforward math there.
Yeah, and it lets them put out another dwelling probably, so that's another 2 points.
Yeah,
so yeah,
it saves
stronghold.
Yeah,
stronghold is still probably the move. It's just really sad without the town coming. And their stronghold is such a resource investment. It's such a shame having to spend 8 and 4 in round 6 just for one extra dwelling and 9 points basically.
I guess it saves the hard dig, so it's like
yeah.
one worker and 8 coins for 9 points. That's okay, but yeah, with the town, how do you feel about bridge blocking? I feel like I'm like in general, how do you feel about it?
I mean, it's as with any sort of blocky action in TM, I feel like you need to do it a lot less than you think. But there are definitely still situations like this one where it's for sure profitable. And I think it comes down a lot of times to head-to-heads, which we think this one is coming down to, where it seems like it's a game between conspirators and nomads. And so when you're just doing that sort of 1v1 math, it can often make sense in that context.
Yeah, it can be a really targeted thing sometimes, especially in round 6. I find like in general, I'm like pretty philosophically opposed to it. I hate that bridge limitation. It's just one of the parts of TM that I don't really like. But doing it after somebody digs your hex and like makes all this effort, uses the cult spade, a hard dig to get rid of yours, I feel a lot better about it in that situation.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's like a very like satisfying bridge block as it goes. Look at that.
Man, that is so mean. Oh man, what a battle. this round 6 between conspirators and nomads, just trading blows.
I guess that's why you built. That's part of why you built the stronghold.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Goodness.
What a rude move it's been, just back and forth.
Yeah,
between these guys.
A rude round 6 here. What
Yeah.
does this mean for network?
Yeah.
So
I was just trying to think about that myself.
Conspirators are on 3 ship. Oh, which is interesting in and of itself.
So can they? I think conspirators now are only getting down to 4 structures.
Yeah.
Which really hurts their game, especially because it looks like at least Yetis are going to be able to tie them, if not beat them now. Because they have a town coming in. They have quite a bit of resources. So if Yetis wanted to get down to 3 structures, they'd need 6 workers just from the buildings. Plus they need to temple fire 2, so that's 8. They're already connected, and they have a town coming in. Yeah, so Yetis are going to be able to get down to 3 structures, it looks like. So that means...
Sorry, go ahead. You go first.
I was going to say, so that means it looks like conspirators are getting tied third on network now with Wisps, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to see. So because conspirators, as you mentioned earlier, still have the stronghold action for 2 coins, and potentially, like, if they take fire 3, that's 4 power. 4 for a hard dig. They need 8 total workers for a hard dig, a TP, and 2 dwellings.
Yeah.
No, wait.
4,
7. 7. 3 workers for a dig, 2 for a TP, 2 dwellings.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah. They have 7. 7 coins, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think they have enough workers or enough resources actually. If they get a big power influx.
Yep. Yeah, because they're on 3 ship. Yeah, if they get I5, then they can take G1. Yeah, actually, they might just have enough to get down to 3. Okay, so conspirators can still get down to 3, which means that it might be a 3-way tie for network, with Wisps being left out.
Yeah, unless nomads do more digging, which they have the resources to do.
Actually,
nomads,
yeah,
they can block that too.
well, wait, can
Tempo?
they? Because they need to get down to 3 structures themselves, which will include a hard dig. So,
or actually, isn't B6 open? No, they can't get there.
They can't get there. Yep. Yeah. So I don't think nomads have the resources to mess with them again.
Conspirators got there first, anyways.
Yep. Yeah. Although, I mean,
dig G. They don't have the resources to hard dig G1 and hard dig somewhere else.
Yeah, because they need 6 workers. Yeah, so they're 1 short of being able to do just a single hard dig on G1. Wow, so I think this is going to come down to the wire here, although maybe nomads have it. They got the network points. They have a pretty big points lead. They're passing for 8. Their cults are pretty sad, but I just don't know if anyone has the ability to make up that many points on them. I guess maybe conspirators. But if conspirators are tying nomads on network, that's a wash there. And it looks like they only have like 14-ish, maybe 16 more cult points than nomads with the same amount of passing. So just on the surface, I'm not sure that's actually wow, this is going to be close, I think.
The 3 from Air 1 might make a difference too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing that we forgot is that Scoomy just pointed out in the chat is the 8.5 point lead that conspirators have. Actually, with that, I think they are definitely going to have enough to make up this Nomad's
Yeah.
points lead.
The current spread plus Air 1. And they're both building a TP and a dwelling, right? They both have a TP and a dwelling to build. So that scoring is the same. The cult spread plus Air 1 is probably the 16 or it's 16-ish point difference that they had going into this. Yeah, I would bet it's conspirators by a bit.
Yeah, I think so too, especially because they can still swap for Fire 3, as you were saying earlier, which gets them even more cult points than I was thinking about.
And 2 fear for nomads.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. I think it still seems like nomads are the favorite to take second, though. I don't think anyone can make up this points gap.
No, Yetis don't have a pass scoring.
Yeah, exactly. Yetis don't have pass scoring. Their Colts aren't super great, and then Wisps are losing to Nomads on network, and I just don't think that their Colts are going to make up for that.
At least Yetis don't have to fire 2 now, which is really nice. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but because they have the neighbor down there, it might have been better anyways to just build the TP, even if it was an expensive TP. Fire 2 is so sad right now.
Yeah, man. The really sad thing about this third Yetis town is that they don't have Water 1 or Air 1. They've been building all these TPs for no points, which is such a big resource investment.
Yeah, it's nice to get those network points. Like they'll tie for first on network if we're calculating this right, and that's 12 points and a bigger swing if you factor in like the plus and minus there. But yeah, when you could just instead like sit back in advance digs and ship one more time and just stack up some resource points, that's tough.
Yeah, I feel like it's always sad as an ice faction if you never get your digs upgraded. They're just so cheap, and especially in a round 4 digging game. Yeah, that's just a bit sad. Lustrous in the chat was saying, and I must have missed this, but Wisps took a 5 for 4 a couple of moves ago, which is actually profitable because it lets them upgrade their ship a third time. That's kind of a fun move. You don't see that often, taking a 5 for 4 in round 6, but it gets them a few more points.
Yeah, if you can turn it straight into 7 more.
Right. Yeah, there you go. That's just plus 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
just run with it. Yeah.
I wonder, I think we think Wisps are going to lose to Nomads, but they have 4 points on them from the previous turn-based game. So it's looking like this might be pretty close between Nomads and Wisps for second place here.
8, 6, 4. Yeah, I mean with the cult bump.
Yep.
Oh, just being that one fewer structure.
Yeah.
Is I don't know. It's close. Those extra points make. I mean, it's not surprising. Like in a tight like competitive Terra Mystica game, a couple points make a big difference. But that really does. It's hard to like to process that shift.
Yeah, because it's a 12. Because it looks like 3 people are going to get down to 3 structures. So that's 12 points for Nomads on the Wisps right now, like more than we're seeing. Wisps have quite a bit. Oh, wow. Yetis just interrupted my train of thought here. Yetis went for the round 6 2-key town. That's crazy.
Yeah. That might be actually enough because Wisps just lost 3 points there.
Yeah.
That's a painful 3 points when we were just talking about they might have a chance to get over.
Yeah. I think that might have just cost them second place. Does this mean that Yetis have a chance against the Wisps? I mean, they just passed them in 2 Colts. And they're getting the 12 network points versus them. I know they're not on a bonus tile, but this might be closer between Yetis and Wisps than we thought.
Yeah, Yetis only have 12 cult points. Oh, actually, no, they have a priest left. They can get a few more in here too.
Yep.
Though conspirators, yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like that 9 points for wisps plus the 5 point lead, 5 point head start might just be enough.
Yep. And again, I forgot about, yeah, they do have 5 more
Easy.
points on Yetis than we see. Yeah, that might make the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just it was a slow game for both Wisps and Yetis, I feel like. The start for Wisps and then just Yetis not being able to upgrade digs, I think really hurt them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was their round four was their big, ideally their big scoring outlet. That was where they're going to stack their points. Like, don't have water one, don't have like some other perfect things, like whatever, just like pile a lot of digs into round four, and use that and like decent scores elsewhere to get there. But yeah, I mean, all things considered, given that they weren't able to do a lot of those things, still being in a competitive position here is
Yeah.
not a
Oh,
bad
no.
accomplishment.
I mean, it's actually for not building the stronghold until this round and then not upgrading digs. This is impressive that they've even managed to accumulate this many points.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are sort of the things you really want as Yetis, and they didn't get either of them. And no water one.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yep. So
we're getting
finishing out. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like. Go for it.
I was just gonna if this is a conspirators win, what an impressive game. Like, maybe we don't need to get ahead of ourselves, but like, remember we were talking about them being at 6 structures in round 4.
Right.
Where did it go? And they were way down in points. But what like really nice patient play to just not force things, just kind of work within the structure. And then look, they've gotten out to 14 structures. They've gotten a lot of favor tile points in these last couple rounds, got their towns, did the things that they needed to do.
Yeah, it can be hard for me sometimes, just to realize that those gray hexes that they had are gonna sit. Like, they don't need to build them now. There's no sort of really big urge because, we talked about everyone else being kind of resource tight. They can just sort of build up a little bit. Those gray hexes are going to sit for them whenever they need. They had so many different options. We saw even with A2 getting dug, they were able to get I5 and then up to G1. So yeah, that's it really is good patient gameplay from conspirators. And I think it was going into round 4. It was one of the rounds one of the later rounds they had no scoring favors, but I think in one round they were able to pick up both Earth 1 and Water 1 with those 6 structures only being built, and so they were still able to score quite a few points from building out in the later rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, really use the stronghold flexibility to grab Earth 1 and then Water 1.
Mm-hmm.
And have that still be, because it's so cheap when you get those favor tiles, you get those extra coins. It's so cheap to do that. You use that, and then you have the resources to easily build the sanctuary after that. And those late favor tile pulls gave them a lot of scoring flexibility and resource flexibility. It's really nice.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it was a really good greedy nomads game. They went Earth 1 immediately. They were able to build quite a few dwellings in those round 2 and 3 dwellings round. And even right now we see they basically built that stronghold just for 9 points. They were able to eke out the points where they needed them.
Yeah, just lived on the scoring bonus tiles.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They hit ship scoring twice for I think 6 and 9 points. They are going to hit big building for 8 points here. They've scored quite a few off of those pass tiles.
Mm-hmm. They had the dwelling one in the middle. I think, yeah, the last 4 rounds, they've gone 6, 8, 8, 9.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is so many pass points.
Yeah. That's beautiful. They would really love one more structure.
Yeah.
But all that considered, that's a pretty good way to turn. It's a pretty good job of turning their resources into points. Got Earth 1, Water 1. And water went in
All
time
right.
to build their TPs too, which is nice. Yep.
Yep.
So we are.
Yeah, and we see Yetis finishing it out by taking water 2, stealing water, and then using that bump to tie on Earth. So just scrounging a couple last call points there. I think they're thinking about if they should advance their ship or bump Earth. There'd be more points to advance their ship. Unless the head-to-head matters, but I think they do go ahead and advance their ship. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those last couple cult steals though. But yeah, look, yeah, where it still should be conspirators, I think.
Yeah, I think it's conspirators. It's conspirators, nomads, wisps, yetis, right? I guess we'll see as the points fall in.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a refresher, or do you let it scroll normally?
Refresh.
Yeah, me too. I used to let it scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was novel at the beginning, but now I just want to know.
Yeah, exactly. See those kids knocking at the door? Yeah, I'm a refresher.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Oh.
All right.
Let's see this go.
And so, yep. Yeah, we do see conspirators get the win here, even with those. They didn't need any of those 8.5 points.
And Wisps, they count the Yetis network. So the 5 points for Wisps will push them over Yetis for third.
Put them over Yetis for third. And then Nomads, and without that point differential, those 8.5 extra or 7.5 points that they had, Nomads played a really good game.
Yeah.
I got within 3 of the leader. Well, awesome.
Yeah, it was a really intentional game from Nomads. Like they had a plan, and they like did that plan really, really well. Just conspirators not having neighbors and taking advantage of it. Good on them.
Holy cow! Wow, I didn't notice it while we were commentating, but look at those thinking times. 39 for.
Yeah, I think I saw a comment in the Twitch that Rick was having connection issues, so that might have contributed to it. But yeah, 40 and 48.
Oh, I see, and it looks like there's some. I wonder if there was a time limit, because it looks like Rick has a -10 VP there. That I think that might be from going over a time limit.
Probably.
I'm not quite sure, because it looks like Gary has the same thing, -2 VP. So I wonder if there was like a 37-minute time limit or something like that. Oh yeah, Scooby in the chat says 38-minute time limit. Yep, that makes sense. 1 VP per minute. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, luckily that didn't affect the final standings at all. I think it was going to turn out this way regardless. You'd hate to see someone lose for going overtime.
Yeah, well, congrats to Olaf the orangutan.
Yep, the orangutan taking the win.
Good on the big orange monkey.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I think Fickles and Eric are going to come back in here fairly soon, and we're going to have a reveal, and there Fickles is.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
We sure can.
What's going on? How are you guys doing?
Great. It's a really fun game to watch.
You guys were awesome. Thanks so much for casting that. That was like super fun, and that was a crazy game. It was just like pretty. Honestly, I thought like round 1, 2, it felt like anybody's game. It was really hard to tell who was even in the lead.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree, and especially as you're commentating along. Yeah, it was a hard battle. Hard to see who was ahead for quite a bit of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of really explosive starts, and then like got really tight in the middle, and everybody like those like little small resource differences made such a difference for everyone.
So, Eirik will be joining shortly. He's finishing off a couple last details as he does, because he's got his crazy schemes. Can I ask you? So we will find all 10. I don't know any of the players, so I'm also about to find all this out. Do you guys have final guesses of who these 4 are? Out of curiosity, Like
Well,
Mellison, what are you thinking?
yeah, Mellison, go
No,
for it.
no, Ron, you go. You really talking
Well,
already.
I was
You
gonna
go
say
first.
I was trying to, right before I got online here, really quickly catch up on all of the lore of what everyone thought. I see I for orangutan, it seemed like a lot of people, I think yourself, Fickles, were thinking DeepFinesse or Barnawal was sort of the leading theory on who Olaf could be.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're like at massive risk of groupthink. But and this was like maybe 3 weeks ago. I can't remember when I did that stream, so it was not like the most up to date. But yeah, I had Deep Finesse on Olaf was my read as of 3 weeks ago, and I've decided to buckle down and like just not change my mind about anything. Yeah, but I'm just curious. Yeah, so like according to me 3 weeks ago, which I've decided was a genius and I refuse to change anything, is that Olaf was Deep Finesse, Gary Giraffel was Tensor, Max was Sad Panda, and Xevoc was Rick Pattison's star. If you forced me to tell you the probability that of those all being correct, I'm gonna say is probably about like 4% chance that those are all right. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I'm just sort of curious, like if even in this game, or any thoughts you had on who these players are.
Well, I've only played with Deep Finesse a couple arena seasons ago, a few times, and when I have, he seems like a guy who likes his Earth One quite a bit. So just taking this game in isolation, I would put my vote on Deep Finesse being Giraffe because of that Nomads gameplay.
So
Olaf, I don't know. He went double Econ, Conspirators, double Temple. It's tricky. I don't know. You have any thoughts, Mellison?
It's hard to keep like multiple of these in your head at the same time. I've kind of like I feel like Gary's Barnawal. That's my best guess. Both the like today the way he played, the hoarding pass tiles and pass scrolls. That was one of the things in one of the breakdowns that Eric sent that like had the points breakdown of each individual player. That he both had, if I'm remembering right, Gary had a really high starting VP. Like he often had like a 40 faction or close to it, and then scored really high on the pass scrolls, which to me sounds like Barnawal. But trying to guess who everybody else is, like once I lock in on one, like I have a hard time then extending it to everybody else. It's just a lot to keep in your head at the same time. Like that's when I first looked into this early in the season, it took like 2 hours. I sat down, mapped out every game, looked at like the moves of each player, but then trying to do that for 15, 16 games as you go was a challenge to keep up with.
Yeah, I would just pick like one player and just open their games and only look at them in those games. And it is one of those things that's like, if all these players are moving parts, it feels impossible. So you almost have to semi-arbitrarily assign a couple and then try to like deduce from there. But yeah, so it's pretty kooky. It looks like
did you guess who Jekyll was?
I mean,
try to abstain from that one.
What's that? Well, I think I know who Jekyll is, but I'm also actually not sure. So I'm not. There's still some things that confuse me, and that's like even the ones that I'm more confident about. I see some like pretty starkly orange flags of like, ooh, I could definitely be wrong about this. Like the Gary one, Gary Giraffe, Jerry Giraffe. I don't know. It's probably alliteration, right? Like, but I'm not sure. They took Earth One and Water One in all 7 games now. Like, I get what you're saying on the pass scroll for Barnawal, but like I played Barnawal a lot. He doesn't really do that. So like I can't quite put him on. But you know, like Is it possible? Yeah, I mean, he could. I mean, he's done really well here doing that, and Barnawal's good. So, like, I guess, but I just never seen him take Earth 1 and Water 1 in so many games. Like,
That is the spirit of Eddie
I guess so.
lives with Gary.
Yeah. And then there's like the mysteries of like Sad Panda's casual bidding of like having 2 auctions that were all 0 bids. And like I like way overthought that. I don't know where, like I couldn't figure out who, like what personality type would go for that. And so yeah, I mean my theory was that Barnawal was Scrooge McDuck, who narrowly missed this. And the other thing that I think that we should probably keep in mind is like base rate. There are 4 like auto qualifying sort of stars, 6 also stars, but that came through the qualifiers. You'd probably expect an expectation about 2 of each to be in the final, right? Just probabilistically, it's actually it's pretty unlikely. I think it's most likely that only 2 of the auto qualifiers are in the final. I think that's the most likely situation. And so that's also why I'm kind of okay being like, maybe Barnawal's not here. I mean, I think the world of Barnawal. I think he's a baller, but like, I don't know. Maybe he's not.
Yeah, and it's always, it's 5 games is a small sample size. Anything can happen in 5 games. And so, yeah, it's definitely not a fact that, the 4 highest ELO players are the 4 playing right now. So, yeah.
The other one I came back to is like some of these players, like it was coming up that like DeepFinesse, for example, has barely played ice factions. And I think he mentioned that. I was co-casting maybe a TMTL game with him, and he mentioned like how like he's just not up the learning curve with ice factions. And so like we've got ice factions here, and I know, some of these players I know Jekyll's barely played fan factions like at all. So like, she spectates a lot of games. So it's not like she didn't know anything. But still, it's like, that's a lot. Like, I genuinely don't think I could have. I'm not a fan faction player. Like, I don't think I could have done 6 auctions at once, which is just a lot of auction analysis at once. So maybe I would have been the all 0 bids in a couple auctions, even though, like, I love auction analysis and I, like, go way deep on that. Maybe I would have done that too. So I don't know what's going on, but I cannot wait for the reveal. I hope Eirik hooks us up here soon. He's, like, keeping us in waiting. I tried to, he's kind of like, he's sort of a perfectionist, wants everything to be amazing. But I'm like, dude, you gotta drop some knowledge on us. We want to know what's going on.
Yeah. I saw as I was perusing the Hidden Cup Discord, all the stats he's put together, and holy crap, that is so much work. And the design, the layout, yeah, it was an impressive amount of digging done on everyone.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. It's a neat idea. Just like playing in disguise is a cool concept. It's probably pretty freeing for the players too. They can just like ball out. You don't worry about ELO. You just sort of go for it and like, and you exhibit your style. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Play whatever wacky lines you want to.
I hope Eirik does it again. I hope Eirik does it again. The only concern is that I think it was so much work that like
his time,
he might be burnt out. So we need to figure out how to like help him out or something. But
yeah. But maybe he's done a lot of the, not to say it's going to be easy, but the initial work of like just deciding how you want to lay out a board and like lay it, because there's so much information to display. Just deciding how you want to display all that and how you're actually going to build those sheets is as time consuming as actually building them.
Yeah.
At least I assume so.
I think he's super clever about a lot of this, and I think you're right. He's like set stuff up that he could leverage it again. But I think if you ask him now, right, like he's like he's probably like totally exhausted. He's like, oh hell no. But so don't say anything yet. Wait a month. But the other thing I was thinking, what's up, Eirik?
Oh, Eric.
He's connecting audio. I'll just say something real quick. Any of the players who played in this, Eirik made these amazing game logs for the games. I don't know if you've seen these. They're like these snapshots
Yeah.
of each of the games. So if any of the players, I don't know I have no idea who's who, but if any of you have a game that you really like that you want to turn into a strategy video, IDIC has snapshots that you could use, and you could turn that into a strategy video really straightforwardly. I'd be happy to put on my channel or help you start a channel. So anyway, shout out to any of those players. If IDIC is cool with it, I think that would be an awesome use of some of the stuff that he's created. IDIC, how are you doing, man?
Hello. We'll see how this will go.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Well, first I gotta say, I polished a lot this tournament, but this reveal is not polished because all my work went into getting the game functioning for the commentators and for everyone. So
don't worry about it.
I think the reveal itself is fun enough.
Yeah, the raw information. That's what we're here for. It can be a notepad file. Just names, just the names.
All right.
They just get screen too.
Is this it? And my understanding is when you reveal who, are you gonna at the end, then whoever the winner is, whoever Olaf is, will be joining us. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Everything is
Okay.
fine. But this thing in the corner, I don't know why. Can you see this down in the corner here?
Yes, but it's all
Yeah.
good. We see a big
It's
white
small.
screen.
Yeah, it's really small.
For me, it's a huge mountain, but fine. I think we can do. No, we can't. There will be information there. What if I do like this?
It is.
Is this better?
It's off the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we're gonna start from bottom up. I was planning to make a video for this, but my video software was rendering this final game, so I couldn't really do it. So I went to PowerPoint instead, tried and true. And for Kara, the 10th place finish, a lot of people guessed Kara right. And that is because
Hey.
Was that your guess, Fickles?
Well, yes, except why the heck did she say I just want to play Cultist on the picture for Kara? Because she never plays Cultist. So I'm like, I was so confused by that. So anyway, all right, fine.
Misdirection.
I'm mad at her, but yeah, okay.
All right.
So yeah, a lot of people got that correct, about 8%.
She did the CM triple dig then. That was her. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. You called it on stream, and it was
That's funny.
it's kind of checkmate from there. Some people called maybe kezilu would be Kara, but it was Jekyll all along. And then it's the penguin, the one with the crazy bits. Penguin pretty much had his own opinion on who was the best faction in every game and bid it hard. It's like losing 20 points in every game. Really. If Penguin just did it like everyone else and still got the faction they wanted, they would do really well. And the Hex Penguin is GDI.
Oh! Wait a second. Was that was one of my, I think there was some night I stayed up super late and oh my God, I think I might have got that right.
Yeah, Scoomy says you're 2 for 2, Fickles.
Oh, let's go. Okay.
Yeah. There were a lot of different guesses on, only 5 people got it right. There aren't that many people who submitted, but that's about 25%. So
I think I forgot to submit mine. My bad.
And then we have Walter the Walrus, the bridge-loving giant player, with a very, very sad trash game, having so few structures. And this is
Oh, Oh, snap. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. This was so Ondas's advice for Tensor then is to just never play giants. Onda said if whoever wall to walruses, if they can stop playing giants, they'll be the best player in the world.
Yeah. And I showed that message to Tensor, and he said, "I hate giants." So,
A lot of people thought this was kezilu, right?
yeah, from the streams, it wasn't really much talk about kezilu or Wolf 2, but it was the thing they thought. So, but on the guesses, it's pretty 50-50 between kezilu and Tensor.
Okay.
So that was Tensor. No underdog story here in terms of qualifying for the final, but still getting 12 points and a win. So, well done. And then we have the elephant. A lot of people thought this was haligh. People probably have long documents with evidence that this is haligh. But it is haligh.
Oh, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
man. That's
Playing
so
a lot
funny.
of Ice Faction, taking a lot of Ice Factions, so it was haligh.
That was hilarious how many signs there were of him. Like, there's just so many things where it seemed like it was haligh, which is funny. I didn't realize how distinct he is.
It seems like he's been very vocal about his opinion on the forums about certain strengths and weaknesses of different strategies, and people have quoted him throughout the tournament. So
You hear that, haligh? You talk too much. That's what
that's
Idek
good
said.
other times, but maybe not here. And then we move on to the wombat, the combat wombat. I don't know how you even say that animal. Here there was a lot of calls for GeorgeShortwell. He's been pointed out pretty early, just from the name alone, that this could be George. Very network heavy player. And it is.
Got him.
Combat Shortwell.
I love the headband on him.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Man, he's wild too. Really distinct. Like so big econ going for 4 towns. He needs to like write a strategy blog on how to go for 4 towns.
Very distinguished style from the others. Signature when we really looked at it now. So, and he had so many hard eggs. I don't get it. So many hard eggs before round 3. I was amazed, especially with the architects, but that didn't go that well. Yeah, that was GeorgeShortwell from Canada. And then we have Scrooge. Now we're moving into territory where there isn't really any common consensus on anyone here. The guesses are all over the place. And we have Scrooge, who barely didn't make it for the final, picked a lot of mermaids. And this is... It is Max.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. Dang.
There weren't really that much talk about this being Max, but 50% of the people who guessed it right, so...
Oh, wow.
They got it.
50% got it right?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you guys have Scrooge, Max, Mellison, Rondo?
My guesses were all terrible, so it doesn't really matter what I had.
Talking about the competition, prediction competition, on our last place we have mellison with 1 correct.
Yeah. Ooh, I wonder which one.
It was, let me see.
Don't spoil it if it hasn't happened yet.
It was haligh. You got haligh right.
Oh, the one that I already
Congratulations.
got. Yeah, got it. Nice.
Well, now we're moving into a very interesting territory here. We have our finalists. We have Rick Patterson. And with our 4 contestants left, we have DeepFinesse, Xevoc, Kezilu, and Barnawal. So we have some heavy hitters there. It is Kezilu.
Oh, dang. Respect.
Placing second in the turn-based phase with a lot of points.
You know, maybe starfish are edible. I'll have to ask him about that.
So, well done. Nobody guessed this right.
Wow.
There were really not much talk about Kezilu at all during the whole competition. And everyone guessed this was either Xevoc or Barnawal, mainly.
Wow. Respect.
60%.
Well done, Kezilu.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, it's a pretty good company to get confused with.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, had a lot of problems in the final. Kezilu was traveling to China during this final, and was playing on his phone. It didn't see that in the interface, but it played on his phone.
Oh.
So I'm glad his time problems didn't cost him a victory here. That would be so sad.
Are you gonna tell us which accounts you did? 3 of the pictures and then 1 of the names, right? Are you gonna tell us which one?
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Once we're done.
So that means our top 3 here are some form of Barnawal, Xevoc, and DeepFinesse.
That's correct.
Oof.
They have delivered.
Yeah.
Can you just have a small recap? What are your thoughts right now? Who are the 3 we have left? Sad Panda, Jerry Giraffe, and Olaf.
I think Giraffe is DeepFinesse.
Yeah.
I think
We know it's not. Well, never mind. I won't say.
I think
We know what makes
Barnawal.
it all.
I think Barnawal's Olaf.
Yep, I agree. So that means I think, Pandas, Xevoc. That's my guess.
Sad Panda had a very interesting turn-based phase. Barely made it to the final. Had a really sick Conspirators game. Had such weird bids. Didn't really bid for anyone. Just pressed in 0-0-0 in one game. Had a really weird bid on the Yetis. Everyone thought. Didn't place 4th there. And played Yetis again in the final.
I'll go DeepFinesse on Sad Panda. Xevoc on Gary Giraffe. Barnawal on Olaf. That's my guess. Given how much information we already have. Oh, wow. Dude. It's amazing how wrong one can be.
Almost everyone thought Xevoc was Rick Patterson, so only 2 people guessed this right. And one of them was Kezilu, so the only other guy who managed to guess this was GeorgeShortwell. So well done to George.
It also helps to be one of the players because you know.
Definitely.
One, yeah.
Yeah, they have their own contest going on.
Gotcha.
But we'll come to the contest later. Moving on to Gary, placing second, also had such a crazy way to the final. I counted him out completely. At one point I thought he would place 9th, getting only 8 points. But on DMs he said, I'm getting 17 points. And I didn't get it. But then he got 18, and yeah. I think a lot of people who watch the games in the middle would never see this coming, really. But Gary is... It is DeepFinesse.
Wow.
Which means
Oh,
Our champion,
What a baller.
the
My God.
naughty monkey, orangutan, picking
baller.
sandwiches left and right. Our champion, it is Barnawal.
Respect. That's amazing. Well done.
Congratulations to Barnawal playing so well.
Man, he balled out.
Yeah. Yep.
What a
That
beast.
is impressive. And that was Fickles. You were saying because of all the sandwiches, you thought that might be Barnawal quite a while ago, right?
Yeah. Because he thrives in ugly situations and he knows it. Oh man, that is so impressive though. It's just hard to come through. Man, this guy's good at so many different settings. Like it's so hard to be good at so many different settings and turn-based and live. Man, what a beast.
Yeah.
And even Barnawal got even Naughty Monkey got last in one game. But
In the first game that finished, he got 0 points.
that's so funny.
Then he climbed.
What a beast.
Stellar.
Is Barnawal gonna hop on? Did you give him the link?
Yeah. I gave him the link so he can just come whenever he's ready.
Dude, Barnawal, come in, man. That's super.
I can just quickly say about the contest. We have 3 winners, guessing 7 right.
Oh, wow.
And the crazy thing is, they all guessed the same, identical guesses. And that was Snake Exir, Scoomy Moons, and Sarito. So with 7 correct, very impressive. They didn't get Panda. They thought that was GDI. They thought Rick Patterson was Xevoc, and they thought Hex Penguin was kezilu. So well done. We have Barnawal here.
What's up, Barnawal?
Congratulations.
Hey, congrats.
Thanks so much. That was great. That was so much fun, the tournament. I love my alts, as you probably know, so it was a lot of fun playing on one and then trying to guess everyone else's.
Dude, that was super impressive. That was did you feel like pressure going into this as like that, highest rated player? Did you feel like you had to deliver?
Not really. I don't know. I just saw it as fun more than anything. Kind of like okay, like a tiny bit, just because I was Tommy Salami, which is like the alt that Eric said this is kind of based off of, and so I felt like I had to do it for Tommy because he's retired too. He's done. So like I think that was a little extra motivation. But no, otherwise I just wanted to have fun these games. Honestly, just want to do something different with all the stupid sandwiches. Like I just wanted to kind of mess with people a little bit, maybe, myself included. And yeah, I don't know. In the live game I felt pretty calm. I maybe having the points lead from turn base helps, but I don't know. I just kind of wanted to play that game to win that game regardless of the situation. So I felt pretty calm throughout, to be honest. And also I'm really confident in turn base. Like turn base is where I feel like I'm my strongest, and so even with fan factions that I'm not that familiar with, it's like I can kind of figure them out over the span of a month as I'm playing the game, right? Like it definitely helps that versus playing them live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
did
played
you
a really
feel
calm Spiriters game in the final. That was very calm.
Yeah, thanks, Nelson. Conspirators are one of the fan factions that I'm the most comfortable with. So that kind of really worked out there in the finals for me. I was on them in the finals. I also I played them and won a game with them in the turn-based stage here. I was just really I put Black Yetis in the finals for a couple of reasons, but one of them was I did not want to see Children of the Worm. I was just knew in real time I was going to struggle to figure them out, which is funny because I had a good game with them in turn-based and tied Max for the win, but I was live, I'm not dealing with these guys, no chance. And then I knew some of the other players didn't know Yetis that well, and so I kind of felt like if I got the opportunity, I'm just snap picking Black Yetis no matter what.
Yeah, were you halfway through the game we just watched? It seemed like it might be a little sketchy for you. We were talking, you only had 6 structures built, I think, in the middle of round 4 maybe. Were you ever worried at all, or were you pretty confident that, as we were saying, that those grays would stick around and you'd be able to still expand throughout the back half of the game?
Yeah, I was worried in round three because like round three, I had two temples and a few dwellings, and I was really coin short, like you guys kind of mentioned it. But I would have been a lot more comfortable if I had like two temples and seven dwellings or something, and I was coin short. Like that's fine. Like I wanted to hit those dwelling rounds hard, and I built like four dwellings those two rounds. I didn't really hit them that hard, so I was nervous then. I felt better once I got Earth One, Water One round four, because
Yeah.
like Wisps could have taken Earth One on me, and they could have denied that to me, and that would have definitely hurt because I wanted all three scoring favors. And then I felt good about my cult position, and so once I got a couple of high scoring towns in round five, my points shot back up, and I was kind of I was pretty sure I was still competitive on network even with that, so I felt a lot better at that point. Oh, and I also like once I got in the big building tile around five, and I saw I was in order to get another pass bonus in round six, I got a points bonus, and I did have the actions to kind of outweigh for it, like that. I don't know. I felt a lot more comfortable like getting on the big building tile in round five. That definitely helped kind of accelerate my game forward.
Yeah, the combination of that round four stronghold and then the round four cult coins, because you got both the favorite tiles, you got the economy back going. You just had to you had to wait for that moment right there, and then you got the pass tile, and then you just scored a ton of points over the last couple rounds of the game just by building towns. We were questioning the 11-point town when you took that one first. Both Rondo and I were like, "Oh, are we sure about that?" And then immediately, like not immediately, but like 5 minutes later, talked ourselves into it too. What was the thinking behind it?
I just wanted points.
Yeah.
Not much. Well, I mean, so okay, a little more complicated. I didn't really like calculate anything that intensely at that point. If I'm playing live, I'm just kind of trying to go by instinct, like not overthinking it. So I just wanted to take that away from other players. That's like I know the econ might be useful for myself, but there's a big point swing between like getting a high scoring town and giving someone else a high scoring town. It all depends how network plays out, but whatever. I just kind of prioritize that in the moment. But the other thing I was looking at was two key town because like that was still there. I really wanted an 8-point town, but they both got like taken right before that turn, and so that was kind of like the 11 point was like a pivot from that. But I didn't think the Tukey town was worth it for me, although in hindsight, like Yetis took it and passed me a bunch of cults at the end, so maybe it was. I don't know. Otherwise, I was just going by instinct, thinking like I have enough resources. I knew I had more coins than it looked like I did because of Conspirator's Stronghold and the ability. Like not just the coins you get from that, but also the cult steps that give you power. Like it's actually a lot more coins than it looks like on the surface. So I kind of just like was gut feeling and partially just fingers crossed. Like I hope I have enough resources to do what I need. Like I just need points right now.
Yeah. Also, was that it, Melson and I were unsure as the game was going on. I think we missed it. Was that bridge block? Did Nomads miss that as a tempo thing, or did you always have the ability to bridge block before they could finish that second town there?
I mean, technically I did. I didn't bridge block until the third action in the
Yeah,
final
that's what I
round.
thought.
But I was
Yeah.
ahead of them in order. So I did have like, and I had 6 power in Bull 2, like at the start of the round. So I could have burned everything and done it right away. So I had tempo on them, but it was a weird little battle. Like I sent a priest to fire, they sent a priest to fire. Then I built D6 or something because I was a bit worried about it. And then once they dug I6, I'm like, I'm not letting them get this town. And we're way too close in points. I think they're ahead of me. I think they beat me to get that town. I just had to calculate to make sure I can bridge block and still get like enough structures out. And I just could, although watching the replay, I think Nomads could have dug I5 and not built, and that would have kept me at 13 structures. So I actually could have gone a lot worse maybe. But that was kind of like yeah, after that second action is when I was really thinking about bridge blocking. I was like, it just felt like the right time. And I feel a little bad because it's the second time I've bridge blocked DeepFinesse in like a big game now. Like the first was like a Fire to Open game way back when. Although I actually used the bridge that game. This game was like a pure block. I did not think that was DeepFinesse. So I didn't realize that. I feel a little bit bad. But I think it was the right play. So
Who did you think you were playing?
Yeah, go ahead.
oh sorry, Fickles, you're asking who I thought I was playing?
Yeah, who did you think you were playing today?
Oh, I thought DeepFinesse was Sad Panda.
Oh, okay.
And I honestly just told him that earlier too. I don't know if I was supposed to talk at all, but I told him, you're like, you're a sad panda. I know you're a sad panda, which is kind of funny. And I think I honestly copied some of the stream guesses that you guys had because some of it I didn't know. Like I had a strong feeling about DeepFinesse being sad panda, which was wrong. But I didn't really know Rick Pattison or Gary Draffel, so I just kind of went with what you guys were thinking, which was like Xevoc and Tensor, basically. But I didn't really factor that in too much as I was playing. But it was still kind of funny just playing against unknown opponents. You think you have an idea, but you don't really know. But yeah, I gotta say, thanks, Eirik, for all the work you've done for this. Like, you put so much work into this tournament. Like, it made it really fun to play. Like, having all
Yeah, that
the
was
work you put
my
into it.
main objective, was to make this fun for the players, and I thought it would be as well. So
Yeah, and you got a lot of the community involved too with the qualifier rounds, and yeah, it's just been a good couple months for TM with this tournament, and it's been a lot of work on your end. So thanks for putting it all on. It's been a blast to watch and commentate, and yeah, congrats again, Barnawal. Great win.
Yeah, thanks, guys. No, I was watching this. I was watching the stream too, so I was trying to just hang out in the background. Didn't want to say too much, but no, great stream. I enjoyed it a lot.
yeah, and yeah, it's a formula that I've seen work so many times. So I knew it would be good if I did it right, and I put too much effort, not effort, but I really wanted to give this format justice. So I'm happy how it turned out.
Great.
That was amazing.
I can just go over. Fickles asked earlier, which accounts did I make? And DeepFinesse didn't make one, so I made the giraffe. And a lot of people guessed that, but not that it was DeepFinesse. And then there was the case of kezilu and Max, because they just wrote Patrick Star and Scrooge McDuck. So I had to make them a bit more funny. And not take original characters. I wanted to have their own identity in a way. So that's what I did.
Avoid any copyright issues. In case this tournament got too big and the it's spotlighted on you. Yeah.
Wait, so Eirik, you came up with Rick Pattison then?
Yeah, I just swapped the patron Rick. So
Wait,
that was...
is there any truth in Fickles like wild conspiracies then that you tried to make it like something related to me?
No.
He tried to make it seem like you. I know.
All I can say is it's a reason why Mr. Fickles' conspiracies are called conspiracies. So, shall I say? But it was so much fun to read crazy takes all over the months that has passed.
Well, I'm gonna choose to only remember the couple things that I totally nailed. One of them is JDI being Hex Thief Penguin. I did a deep dive on him, and the other is calling that you made the giraffe picture. I think those might be the only two things I was right about, so I'm gonna cling to those.
Man, I was so confident DeepFinesse was Sad Panda. I'm like really surprised now looking at it.
Hey Barnawal, what was your favorite game? Like if someone were to go back and review one of the games you played, is there one that you were like, I love this game?
Yeah, that's my Mermaids win.
Okay.
I double dug and hard dug round 1 into like 3 TPs round 2 in the TP tile and didn't build a temple to round 4. Like that was definitely my favorite game. I worked a lot better than it was risky. I didn't know it was gonna work so well.
First temple round 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ended round 3 with like 3 TPs, 6 dwellings or something. One of those kind of games. Like it was a Mermaids game with no ship DP in the game. It was and then in an ugly color matchup. Like it was interesting.
Nice. Gonna go back and look at that one again.
Yeah, there's a few really good games here. I pointed out Xevoc's Conspirators win earlier, and GDI's crushing with Architects. But the game with Gary Graff or DeepFinesse on the Architects in the corner there, managing to beat 4-town Nomads, that was a roller coaster in terms of guessing who would get the 3 points. So that was very interesting.
Man, so DeepFinesse took Earth 1, Water 1 every game, huh?
Yeah.
That's it, okay. Man, now I know.
Yeah, that was cool. And yeah, it was neat to see how different like stylistically people were just in the strategies played. So awesome. Hey, Eirik, are you all set? Should we wrap?
I'm It's fine. We can quit here.
Oh, I don't want to interrupt. I wasn't sure if you had more.
No, I don't have any more.
Okay.
So.
All right. Sweet. Awesome. Well, Idek, thank you so much for all the hard work. And it's super cool to see this style of tournament. I've never seen it before. So you did cost me like some sleepless nights of speculation. So I'm like, somewhat grateful and somewhat mad at you. But no, that was really awesome. Maybe someday we can have a hidden cup too. Barnawal, you're a beast. Well done. Yeah. That's just like that's so awesome. So I'm excited to like go back through and then look at everything and be like, of course this was Barnawal, and be like, like in retrospect it's gonna be so obvious.
Thanks.
Maybe you could factor in a hidden cup into TMCon. Like have like a big costume. And then like put people in a room. Yeah, maybe there's a way to do it.
Oh my god!
Do I need to dress as a orangutan now?
Like a masquerade Terra Mystica tournament.
I'm really glad we can gain some momentum for Terra Mystica into Terra Mystica.
Yeah. So Barnawal is gonna be at Terra Mysticon, folks. So come get his autograph. I'm gonna have you sign my box, my Terra Mystica box. No, respect that you should celebrate. That must feel amazing.
Oh yeah, no, the game was yesterday, so last day was my celebration.
Nice. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thanks all. Mellison, I know you're super busy. You killed it on the cast. Rondo killed it on the cast. Super fun day of TM. Idek, you're a beast.
I have to say one more thing. I've asked so many people for small helps here and there, and people have been so positive to help me with. It comes so easy every time I've asked people, so I'm very happy for that. Fickles and Anders has helped a lot with streams. Yeah, there's quite a few people who has helped, and always positive answers and want to help and what can I do, and that's made it easier. So, thank you.
Well, we really appreciate all your hard work. So, all right. Well, hopefully we'll see some folks at Terra Mysticon. Yes, Barnawal is going to cosplay the orangutan. I think that was just in chat. I saw Zarito. Zarito is going to be there, right? Coming from Sweden. So that'll be awesome. So cool. All right, team. We'll catch you. Congrats, Barnawal.
See ya.
Bye.
Say bye to everybody.
Bye.
Oh,
yeah.
bye.
Thank you, Mellison.
Bye.
Great guest.
Good guess to finish it.